I might... Oh, no, hey, I got them fixed. All right, so I'm not going to have any problems getting the thing going. I should note that Uplay started downloading the new... I think it's the new Division 2 patch. I wonder if there's a way for me to pause that right now, actually. It's not affecting my... it's not affecting my ability to stream, but I suspect it is playing havoc with my ability to load Age of Wonders Planetfall in a timely manner. So first of all, I am rather sorry about the time... Oh, never mind, I can shut up. I'm quite sorry about the delay in getting started. I did note that February was a bit of a mixed milestone because it's the first time that the YouTube channel has actually grown faster than the Twitch channel. And obviously, Twitch is sort of my main way of broadcasting and communicating with people. I'm still not 100% sure what caused that, but one thing that I sort of know I've not been very good with in the past month or so is being consistent, especially with my Monday streams, and I'm going to try and get a little bit better at that. But of course, it is a hobby, so it's one of these things, especially because I'm trying to do a few things which are just smart to do personal life-wise. You know, it is so easy if I'm running behind from, you know, leaving work maybe a bit later and then coming into streaming. It's so easy to just go and, like, buy something for dinner rather than actually make dinner. And you get in that habit, and it's a very hard one to break. And so, obviously, eating out all of the time is a terrible financial decision. And on top of that, like, it's streaming, depending on a given month, but more often than not, I sort of run at a net negative in terms of the extra internet package that I've got for that. And so if I turn eating out to be, like, if eating out is the reason, or if streaming is the reason I'm eating out, that technically becomes another cost, and clearly that doesn't make a lot of sense. So with that in mind, this is entirely up to me. I need to make sure that I'm just organizing my days a little bit better. I'm not great in the kitchen, but I'm reasonably efficient in it, so those aren't the sources for the delay. But as it is, I come to you belatedly, but that doesn't mean that we won't have some good times with Age of Wonders Planetfall. So first things first, thank you very much to Paradox, Triumph, to Triple Point, whoever I need to give kudos and thank you to for the key. I've been given a key for Age of Wonders Planetfall, as well as the DLC Age of Wonders Planetfall Revelations for promotional purposes, so please keep that in mind. If you're wondering why I'm a little more... So, I mean, I usually state it, but one of the reasons why I've tried to say it right up at the front in the videos is that this is the sort of stuff that you need to disclose. And I believe that they are becoming a lot more... It's becoming a lot more codified in terms of what an actual proper level of disclosure is. So I know it gets a little irritating to hear it repeated over and over again, but I have to deal with the practical reality of the fact that it's not just that there is a video that I'm recording and some people will see on YouTube, but they're going to be people coming in at different hours. And so the spirit of the exercise is to inform people that this is sort of it's not a paid promotion, but it is a promotional copy of the game that was given for the purposes of showing people and hopefully selling some copies of the game. It sounds like quite a few have bought it and enjoy it. But it's up to you to decide what that relationship means. So again, sorry if I become a little irritating with it, but it's the best way I've been able to sort it out, to be honest. I don't want to spend too much time housekeeping, but I know I normally give it a little bit more time. A couple of things just to mention, for me at least. I do have a new Elder Scrolls episode coming online tomorrow. I still need to upload it, but we'll leave that be. I had a rather good time with it yesterday, but there was one challenge. I did something weird in OBS, and for about 5 minutes of the video, it winds up like moved off of the screen. So if you like watching those on YouTube or if you like watching them on Twitch, it'll be 5 minutes of that. It feels like an eternity when you watch it for the 5 minutes, but I can assure you it's fixed. I'm going to try and come up with a way to denote, hey, this thing gets fixed, don't freak out. But it was a good time. And as far as this week is concerned, I think Wednesday I'm going to do something new. There was a key that I was offered to stream, again, the promotional thing, and I really want to do it. But I really wanted to do 6 Ages on Friday as well, so I'll probably jump between that and 6 Ages. And I do have a few things that I've really been wanting to stream for a while, and it's feeling like the time is ripe to to knock a couple of those off of the list. So let's think about Planetfall, though, right? You've gotten 5 minutes. We've given people a chance to come in. We're playing the Devar. So a couple of things have happened. One, we're a bit short on our units. So I believe each of these guys, I was going to set them up with a mech or some variation of mech. So what's going on here? Well, I've got one being built. I need another one, though. I need another bulwark. So we'll knock that off the list. We don't have the energy for it, so never mind. I also need to get the colonizers up sooner rather than later. While we're waiting... Okay, so my trenchers are where they need to be, and I bet my foreman doesn't have any interesting mods yet. Yeah, I don't use them for melee. Now, the Ironbreaker modification would be interesting on my commander, though. And Inessa has got a gun, so not much point on the Ironbreakers there. Okay, so one thing I need to do is we're going to get the Imperial Energy Stash. Is that Stretcher? Thank you very much for the host. I don't believe, if we've met, I don't recall seeing your name before. You must be an Age of Wonders fan, though. Thank you very much for that host. How are you doing tonight? And hello, everybody from Straightshire's side of the internet. All right, so the plan... I had a plan. I talked about it last stream, but you think I could remember it right now? One, we need to sort of revive my my armies. So we've got a couple of bulwarks. I don't quite know what I'm doing with the 5th slot yet. I need to figure that out. I don't have as much to worry about in terms of the the wildlife. And we're going to be moving to Carminia's Blessing Place, although it looks like we also have the assembly that we're going to have to deal with. So I probably want to keep a little bit more on top of my military than I was before. Actually, I think this might be... Yeah, the assembly's here. So like, there's a side of me that kind of wants to run just straight to Carminia's Blessing Place, but I don't think that'll work. One of the nice things about the assembly is I don't believe they have Arc, which is what we are weak to right now. But let's think about our immediate turns, because I obviously can't control all of this all at once. So we've got 2 turns before the Bulwark happens. Now we've got the Devar Settlement Arena module. Order this colony produce the arena modules to contribute to the construction of the Devar Settlement area. Recreational Dome sounds good, and we'll probably spike these 2 before... Actually, we'll get those out of the queue right now, because I'm probably going to be switching the stuff around. Okay. Well, we'll take the resources we can get, and one thing I do want to get sooner rather than later is colony. It seems to me that... Right, I think I was talking about this before, so we were going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we don't have the obvious candidate for what the next colony is going to be, but it's most likely going to be going left, seeing as the Devar our Devar friends are over here, and the assembly's sort of down here. Although there might be an argument for moving the moving some colonizers to Carminia's Blessing Palace because of the big bonuses. Should be thinking about that a little more carefully. Exchanged some words in the past, and yes, you enjoy Planetfall from time to time, but right now you are hooked on Endzone, A World Apart. All right, I apologize for not remembering Stratature. I'm also a little bit, I'm scrambling a little bit to get starting tonight, so I'm sure if I sit down and reflect, I might have a better recollection, but apologies for not remembering that before. I've never heard of Endzone, A World Apart. While I move forward in Planetfall, could you tell me a little bit about it? And thank you again for the host if you weren't there when I said that. So, combat the Redeemer threat. The Assembly cult is interfering with our mining operations. Those abominations must be burned with fire. So 4 Assembly units slain. That's right, we had the Purifiers that we were working on. Okay. So, right, and we left that at the end of the turn, so let's hit it there. All right.
Though primitive, blades have always been lethal, especially striking a foe flying at supersonic speed. Orindra Reaver, Syndicate Assassin.
So this is a big one for my trenchers, but if I equip it now, they're going to get sort of a weakness for their next combat. So we'll hold on that for the moment. But let's think a little bit about what my next moves are. So if I want to replace, what I lost before, I need to be taking tactical protection in order to gain the Purifier core. But let's just make sure that tactical protection makes the most sense relative to my other decisions. No offense taken. As far as Endzone, looks a lot like Surviving the Aftermath, but plays more like Banished. Now, I've never played Banished, but I do tremendously enjoy Surviving the Aftermath. I also really like Surviving Mars, but Surviving the Aftermath, I think, is a bit of an underappreciated gem. Although it's in an early access period, so I know that people may not necessarily want to take the plunge yet. Okay, so Factory Overdrive. Right, so this one I'm somewhat opposed to locking in right now. Although, actually, now that I think of it, so as long as I keep my happiness higher, that's a sustained 30 industry, but it's a target colony. It's not the main one. That's actually not a bad. Now that I think about it, that's a really big early productivity boost. But I also don't have the 6. Yeah. So I also need 6. Well, no, I spend the operation points per turn. Yeah, actually, I think this might make some sense. And then deployed trenchers seems ridiculously powerful. So it costs. I should think about this. It's 80 energy and 10 strategic. So I should think for a little bit about what it costs me to just build those, because I might be willing to invest a bit in just deploying the trenchers. As we move on, so we've got the aerial division. If I feel like a ramjet is in well, sorry, I should probably focus on the unit, the hero unit. If we need an air core, this is it. We could do the Devar Mark IV upgrade, so unit gains detection, +2 sensor range, and ignores 50% of the accuracy penalty from line of sight while in combat. Explosive resistant armor. This unit gains 1 level of stagger resistance and 8 kinetic resistance against explosive attacks. Additionally, the mod grants the unit +2 and general alert protocol. So this isn't bad, but what I actually need to be focusing on is how I recover from arc. Dreadnought I'm not too interested in because there's not that much ocean. So in reality, we're waiting on the Noble Division. Looks like the Baron's not a terrible choice. But it actually looks like the base level units are not too bad for the Devar. So we're back to our original question. Do I want to go down the Promethean path? Is there something? So Drudges I can see an argument for, but it's more costly than the tactical protection right now. Enhanced payloads. We can get explosive attacks now have an 8 strength chance to apply blinded. And yeah, so again, this looks nice, and perhaps something with thermodynamics and whatnot might push me over the edge. Excellent. Let me just take a second and write that down, actually. I know we're getting a little slow at the start, but I don't I don't have a ton of time for gaming outside of streaming, but I am always looking for something new to play. So, okay, Purification Field, restore 15 and remove any non-psionic status. Can all be used once a battle. Oh, that's not bad, actually. And Hazmat Protection provides bioresistance. Now, it depends what kind of assembly we're up against, so that may or may not be helpful.
Please don't be alarmed if we ask you to abandon your native holdings. It's nothing personal. Our technology is specifically crafted to fit the Dvar. Our physiology simply doesn't match yours. And you aren't optimized to make the profits our empire requires. Prakova Petrovic, Productivity Safety Manager.
Oh, I love the writing for this. Okay, Native Displacement Act. This is a doctrine. We can't have a few unfortunates blocking our road to progress. The cost of moving independent armies is reduced by 30%. Revise safety regulations. By allowing us to bypass some of the official work regulations, we can finish structures more quickly and at a reduced cost. Structures cost 20% less to build. That feels like a really good doctrine to put in. And colony upgrade, the DVR terrain security bulwark. This Institute of Protection Against Hostile Operations instills confidence in all units under its protection. Allied units in this colony's domain gain 200 morale. This colony doesn't suffer from penalties from volcanic terrain in any of the sectors in its domain. Very cool. Okay. So, social research. Wow, this has got to be the effect of the Division 2 patch loading in. So, aquatic deployment. I am not convinced that is what I need right now. So I'm doing okay for energy. So production, food. Well, I am still kind of in growth mode. I need a really clear plan though in terms of getting out of growth mode. Okay, I'm going to do food development. But I need to make sure that I've got a plan for transitioning out of the food exploitations. Yeah, no problem. As you can see, it's kind of calm, and I'm still on the warming up phase, so I don't think you'll miss much. Okay.
Incoming communication.
You'll need to rethink this relation of ours, Corvin Jaleo. You are pathetic, dirty rats to have crawled up out of the rubble. Okay, so we don't know what their secret tech is. I will hold off for now. I will wipe them out when I get the chance, but I don't want to start a war I can't afford. Okay, industry and energy. And industry and science.
Production.
Ah, glorious. All right, the People's Bulwark. So there's a good question about whether or not I want to wait the turn to get this thing in range. I think the resources are probably worth the risk, but that's an open question, to be completely honest. Okay, so first things first, we're going to get him to grab the supplies. This guy, I think what we're going to do is we're going to get... These guys are going to become scouts for me. Oh, well. Yeah, so this guy's going to take a long route back. Again, I want to mine as much as I can. This guy, we're going to get him to be an inefficient scout, and hopefully he doesn't die. Okay.
Operations available for priming.
So let's start priming the revised safety regulations. We're short on energy at the moment. Can't rush the goal. And we're back to not being able to afford the bulwark. So, you know what? Let's, actually, you know what? Inessa is a bit weak. So we will wait the one turn just so I can get at least the one bulwark in.
Happiness event in colony.
Ah, this is really welcome. So we just got an extra free 15 Cosmite. Alright, so that was a little more calm than I wanted that turn to be, but I wanted to be a bit careful with my my hero. Scanning biomass. Unknown organic database updated. Greetings, ex-Star Union citizen. We are Autonom, the cognitive fork of the consciousness omnipresent Regency engine, known to you as Core. Present identification. Greetings, machine. We are Zleo Dvar. We lay claim to this world's riches. Database update. Zleo Dvar. Autonom must learn through interactive queries. Current knowledge acquisitions inconclusive. We seek understanding. Data disk recovered. Requires categorization. Autonom analysis ineffective. Biological analysis deviates from autonom thought patterns. Request assistance with identification. The Autonom are in possession of an encrypted data disk and have allowed our researchers access to it. We should set up an investigation if we want to get on the Autonom's good side, not to mention make use of the contents. Hint, you can still interrupt the quest research for more urgent research projects and resume it later by accessing the special research at the bottom of the research overview. I think I'm going to accept... as much as I would like the extra... the extra improvements. The fact of the matter is, I do need... oh, really? I don't think I can wait another turn. What's your health looking like? I don't like doing this, but yes, we will do another wait. Okay, we can't rush you yet. Tasking motive, maintain integrity. Native infestation has developed appetite for autonom conduits. Directive, exterminate voracious computer bugs. Yes, no. 4 quartzite units slain. In exchange, we'll get relations bonus, influence, production, and energy. Sounds like a decent trade-off. Alright, so I'd rather not have to face off against these guys, but I do want resources to prospect. We're going to head up to the Frosty Tundra to see what we've got in the area. Okay.
Incoming communication.
Hello, Corvin Gileo. I'm glad to hear from you again. Corvin Gileo, you old stone cheward. Everyone could stand to learn from your steadfast leadership. You're a lot nicer. Alright, let's... Oh, revise safety regulations by allowing...
Enacted.
Right. So structures cost less to build. Doesn't really apply right now, but good news. Let's drop in another bulwark. Again, I'm not actually locking in this stuff, but I can work with it. Okay. So again, we've got some weaker units, but we should be doing okay with the, we should be doing okay against the bugs. I really didn't like how cautiously I played that, but as it turns out, I didn't commit myself too deep into the enemy territory, so we'll be able to do that on and activity. We'll get a little bit closer to the bulwark, and then we can start moving on the what you call it? We can start moving on the the assembly. Also, apologies. I know there were some dropped frames there. That was from the again. I'm looking at the window on the side here. It does look like the drat. That was worth a try. As long as I don't lose them. This is not the best place I can put my trenchers, but I'm kind of banking on them moving around. Or the enemy moving around is what I mean. Anyways, yeah, so I'm watching this this division thing. Oh, this is Foreman. Yikes. Okay. He's not really in a position to be throwing his weight around quite yet. Okay. Actually, if I really feel like it, I could pop one of these healing kits right away on my commanders. There's a very good argument for doing that, actually. Okay, well, I'm going to move my commander up. Okay, this is the foreman. I think I am going to do the healing kits. So now what I'm doing, my new plan has to involve not taking too much damage against these things. I'm not going to drop the trenches quite yet. And the main reason for that is there's a cooldown on them. It's 2 turns. And it's not immediately clear where the action's going to be happening. So I think we'll lock in and see how the AI reacts. Oh, they were going right for the melee. Interesting. Okay, well, we know what we're doing with the bulwark. It's not exactly the... I was hoping to do a little more damage, but that's life.
Enemy eliminated.
Alright, that's not so good, but these guys should be able to heal inside their home. Oh, looks like we can also get a spike gun off on the bad guys, so good news there. So first thing I'm going to do with the foreman... Oh, what's going on there? Melee Overwatch. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is heal the commander. Commander's not quite ready to deliver some hurt on the beetles. Might be able to... Nope, no line of sight, so we will trench in. Now, this is the nice thing about the trenchers, of course, is that we can move up, set up shop, and... I don't have a full plan in terms of how I'm going to damage these guys. I just think I'm going to spread the love, which is not necessarily the smartest move. Sometimes it makes the most sense to take a piece off the board. In this case, 55 chance to hit is a little hard to pass up. Okay, so let's see if Junior can do anything. Yes, he can. Well, he tried. And it wasn't good enough, but he tried. Let's get him behind the trenchers. We'll see what kind of damage we're looking at. End of combat. No, out of range. Okay. Oh, yes. I needed to wrap that up a little sooner than it did. Nice.
Enemy destroyed.
Oh, I should have done that at range. I forgot those guys blew up. All right. Well, I mean, in for a penny, in for a pound.
Enemy down.
So that's some damage, but not. We're definitely ahead in terms of where our health was. Dispatch from the Imperial Energy Complex. The logs are intact, and it seems that this transport carrying 50 energy was dispatched from a nearby structure, the Imperial Energy Complex, due to an unknown emergency. The location was added to the map. Okay, so Benderin looks like a very tasty target. I still need to kind of find my way to them. But okay, so we got some upgrades for Anasa. Let's load up the skills. So he's also weak to eye. I wonder if everybody's weak to... Oh no, this is due to the sector, not something inherent with him. Oh, that's good to know. So maybe I was mistaken in terms of the bulwark's weaknesses. I'll double check that. Okay, so we can start by giving him infantry commander. That's probably one of my higher priorities. We've got rapid movement, so this is a Xenoplague hero. Hero learns to move rapidly to confuse enemies. Hero gains skitter, making them harder to hit if they move during their turn. Now, this isn't really a good one for a sniper to have, in my opinion. Juggernaut is awesome. I love the fact that the Devar can basically walk through walls. Siege Master... All units in this hero's army gain +2 damage resistance in all channels while in cover. Only functions when the hero is the army's commander. It's a nice one. I'm probably going to go for infantry commander. The other would be range specialist because of the extra damage, but I think we'll go infantry commander just because I'm going to have a fairly large block of baseline infantry. Okay, so we've got 2 turns before the settlement area module is done. We can't speed it up. I don't know if that's because it's a story thing or just because we don't have enough money. I am getting to the point where I need to start considering when I'm gonna build the next colony. So we're already locked in there. Okay, not a whole lot for me to do, so we'll just hit end turn. I do want to keep an eye on any expansion in this area, so we outnumber them, but that doesn't mean that our army is better. Okay.
When traveling through Promethean lands, stay close
welcome
to
back.
agents who can deploy tactical protective technologies. I've watched the world around me devoured in an inferno as I pass through unharmed. Mar Regnib, fleeing through Promethean fire.
So this is a pretty good one for its heal. Emergency shielding, deploy protective shield on a target unit, granting 10 shields and thermal immunity for 2 turns. Unit cannot move for the duration of the effect, and hazmat protection against Xenoplague or bio attacks. So Purifier is going to take me 10 turns, but that fills in a gap in my my army. Alternatively, no, you know what? I'm going to go for Drudges. Partly because it's faster, and partly because it's going to give me the industry that will allow me to build these guys faster. Alright, so first of all we're going to pick up the research. The remains of this research ship contain intact data pads. Unfortunately, they don't reveal information about the vessel's mission and crew or the events that led to the crash landing. So more mining, and these handsome devils. Again, I'm pretty much... Oh, what are you doing? Prospect. The idea here is basically I'm going to be running through as many of these things as I possibly can. My excuse for exploration is going to be to mine the resources in each sector. So we'll move High Commander and his son. And this will be a bit of a tougher fight, but I think we can manage it. We're probably going to be taking some hits from the Ion Storm, unfortunately. But that's life. Should also be considering whether or not I want to give myself the extra... what am I trying to say? I think for this one, this might not be well advised, but I'm actually going to run the general in straight head-on. What's the best way for me to maximize the damage with this guy? Okay, so this is a really nice wide view on everything. I think I'm going to prioritize any of the ones that do arc damage. Okay, bad luck. Let's take a quick minute and look at the Bulwark. So Bulwark just has a general arc weakness. They're really low chances to hit, but man, they're worth taking. I'm gonna take a chance that they're gonna move on me. If they don't, this is a bad choice. I do want to keep the foreman in the background. Who do I want to give the extra morale to, though? Okay, so I do get to fire a shot on the bad guys. Again, this is a very low chance to hit, but I want to go for it. Obviously, if that worked, I would have looked like a genius. Okay. We're boxing him in. Now, the drawback here is I might have prematurely set up the defenses, because if we wind up fighting a fight that goes like this, these guys are going to be left out in the cold, but... Okay... So I've got a 44 versus a 33, so let's do what we can there. None of these have been good shots, so like I can't be too salty about them not turning out, but I definitely need a little more than what I've been getting. I mean, if we were to just continue the fight like this, they have pretty much all the advantages. So Foreman, well, we can throw a bomb at them, so... Oh boy, that was a good one. In fact, the defense mode was probably something that was making those harder to hit, so I probably should have moved the foreman up earlier. But that's fine. That's a lesson learned. Of course, you can see my... oh, wow. I set myself up for success there. Hope we don't die. Alright. It's a little scary on the commander, but here's what we're going to do. Healing kit. How much of a difference is there playing with or without the DLC? So there's been a couple of big free patches as a result of the various DLC and whatnot. So at the base level, the game is very fun and very playable without the DLC. There are some mechanics that are particularly neat in the Revelations DLC. So there's sort of almost a vampirism kind of ability that comes in with an additional faction. And they have a nice extended campaign, which surprised me, because I know sometimes for DLC, well, maybe this is more of a multiplayer game thing, but like I'm not accustomed to having DLC like really dedicate some extra single player content, but it seems that Age of Wonders Planetfall is the exception in that case. So actually, tell you what I'll do. This follows the usual paradox model where there's a free component and a paid component, and rather than speculating, because of course I was given the DLC for promotional purposes, so I've never played the game. Once you had the DLC option, I've never played the game without it. Let me just take a quick minute here. Usually on the Paradox wikis, they'll tell you what was free and what was paid. So, Age of Wonders wiki. So this is, I'm visiting aowplanetfall.paradoxwikis.com. Well, you don't need to worry about the slash. And normally on the right-hand side, it'll talk about the DLC. Huh, it doesn't, though. Oh, here we go. Okay. Doesn't look like it explains the difference between paid and... Okay, maybe these are the paid upgrades. Let me take a quick look at the Steam store page before I go. Sorry to make a big deal of this. I just don't, especially for the Paradox stuff, because I know what it's like to like the odds in terms of what you get in the base game and what you don't. Pretty sure Yep. Okay. So the store page will tell you the free content, but here's what they say. So the anomalous site mechanic: explore 30 plus mysterious sites filled with traps and powerful enemies to reap unique rewards and uncover great secrets. Encounter unique choices based on each faction or secret technology. So the idea here is that you have a few more on the strategic map experiences to go through. Additional campaign missions, so they say it adds about another 10 plus hours to it. I can absolutely believe that number. It's just like playing this main campaign. New secret tech Heritor, so this is basically like, if you've played the fantasy Age of Wonders games, this is basically like your character class. So the Heritor use ancient Heritor technology to drain the essence of your enemies, fueling an opportunity to use powerful abilities, create strong entropy weapons, and summon new units. So that's where I was talking about the vampirism. For those of you who don't necessarily like the campaign mode, you can play scenarios, and in this case they added the Tomb World scenario, so you can consider both the campaign and the multiplayer slash like the skirmish mode, or however you want to look at it. Basically, you got a new biome. Makes it sound a little bit lighter than it really is. This is like a new way of playing. Like, this is also something that when you got the deluxe edition of the game, there was something like the Plague World or whatever. The Forgotten NPC faction, so that autonom that we were interacting with, there's another one there. Threats to your empire. Oh god, the Reapers. These things were horrifying. Reapers are robotic assassins created long ago to destroy those who were friendly to the Heritor cause, but now hunt all who walk the planet. Equally deadly are the Megasow and Piglets. So I was actually surprised. I thought those came in the free patch. So it looks like there were, the Megasow are crazy, but new unit types from biology, and locations, pickups, and mechanics. Visit an Essence Gash or S-Tech well locations to supply combat effects or ability. Well, this is a little bit like some of the other things on here. So probably the highlights to me were the new, what do you say, like the new locations on the map to explore. That probably got me the most. And then on top of that, I would probably say number 2 was the extra campaign, because like I always like campaign modes. Oh, I haven't played multiplayer yet, so I'm delighted. I originally thought I was doing it wrong because the game was taking so long, but then I just sort of realized that no, this is how it works. Like, this is you're allowed to have fun with this game, and you don't need to like just run through it the whole time. All right. Unfortunate that the foreman is so damaged, but we're not going to be throwing him into combat right away. I probably could have used a foreman to heal someone, but anyways, we got that dealt with.
Victory. Objective completed.
Rogue bugs deleted. Database updated. Corvin Gileo is competent. Rewards allocated. The arena stands, Vlodny, and now the time has come for our settlement. Send forth your champion, or face me yourself if you dare. Today you'll pay for your part in Alexandra's fate. I had no part in what happened to Alexandra. Someone had a hand in her death, but it was not one of us. You forgot you are not the only one that she was stolen from. Her death was no coincidence. She was murdered by cowards who feared her words, while you stood by and did nothing. I never stopped looking for the ones responsible, but you were so quick to abandon her memory. Your consortium with fools, unfit to protect her. You might as well have killed her yourself. It is you who are the fool. You fight phantoms and make enemies where there are none. We are not your enemy, Corvin. We are too stubborn to see reasons. Let's settle this your way, in the arena.
Objective completed.
Wow. I didn't know that was... Okay. So we've got a Baron. The arena's built. It is time to face the Rasavet champion and settle the grudge. Alright, so I'm not quite ready to take him on. Let's get our units in the area. And we will recruit the hero. I kind of do this sight unseen, so this is rotary cannon. I do want to add flechettes, but we're short on cash at the moment. So let's see what we've got with the Baron. So I served Var Baron Durek. He was clever and industrious. He tinkered day and night, improving his battlesuit, replacing expired tech with the latest dangerous weaponry. Annually, barons compete in Slugfest to claim the Noble Championship belt. Still, the sport lacked purpose for Durek, so the restless baron deployed his battle suit on the battlefield. I suggested he outfit his suit with repair kits to support weaker Devar troops. He became a Devar legend. All his troops won glory for the clan. Now all barons fight for a purpose and to try out the latest tech upgrades. Marek Nib, RV2255X, Devar Chronicles. So, rotary cannon. Reinforcement kit, target mechanical cyborg or Dvar units heal for 15 health. Unit also gains extra armor, granting it +3 armor until the end of combat, but can only be used once per battle. Nitro battery, charge up target mechanical or cyborg unit, dispelling all negative status effects and giving it boosted, granting it fast movement and increasing its damage by 20% for 3 turns. Cooldown of 1 turn. So that seems great. Disruptor device, launch a disrupting device at the target area, dealing damage in a 1 hex radius. Disrupt chance to remove all action points from mechanical and cyborg targets, so I want to make sure that the bad guys don't have one of these. And I should see what Cumbersome does, because it's been a while since I've seen it. Unit moves slowly in tactical combat. Fair enough. Okay, so we are up against... Okay, so there's a Baron. I want to be careful that I don't cross that guy. Looks like they got a flying unit as well, so this is going to be a challenge. Aerial Ram is a melee collision attack, but it doesn't have air-to-air, and then Ramjet rocket fire rocket dealing explosive damage in 1 hex radius, so staggering everything together is going to be a dilemma. Good news, though, is that it's weak to arc, so we can try... If it really comes down to it, I can make an effort to kit my people out with some arc weaponry. Anyways, we gotta get our people home. What else? Yeah, I don't have any money. Further, the research team has completed analysis on the data disk. It's a holotheater disk, manufactured from the ancient Stadia Arcadia. This one contains holo performances from a band named Null Behavior. It was imprinted in a Stadium Arcadium not far from here. The original recording might still be there. Even if the Autonoms still won't understand, they might be grateful. Let us hope so. Not as useful as I would have hoped, but maybe we can gain their trust. Regardless of the disk's contents, let's make sure that we know, let's share what we know with the Autonom. Processing. Analysis inconclusive. Require further data. Stated terminal, Stadium Arcadium. Recover original imprint of data. Source code might provide solution to inquiry.
Objective completed.
The data storage chip contained a recording of the ancient Star Union band Null Behavior. The Autonom are not satisfied with our answer, so we must dig deeper. We should search the location mentioned on the disk. Perhaps the original disk can be found there. Now, I thought they were talking about I think it was this Stadium Arcadium, but I was wrong. Okay, question number 1. Am I able to buy myself a new... No, I am not. And we don't have the energy for the colonizers, so this is a point where I might want to consider investing in energy production. Next up, relations have improved with the Autonom. I don't know. Relation state changed. Database updated. Entry, Corvin Leo. Now available for trade. Sentinel, Golem, mining laser upgrade, Autonom network connector. There are actually a few of these that might help me out. So let's see. Activate the trading protocols. So Sentinels. Okay, that's heat, so I don't care about that. Golem is a melee unit, and mining laser... Actually, I'm not quite ready for the... If I need, I can buy these guys, but I don't think I'm quite at the point where... Well, I mean, what else am I going to use these points for, right? So let's buy ourselves a Sentinel, a mining laser upgrade. Do I want another Sentinel? Well, I've got 3 heroes, and I'm having trouble filling my army, so yes, we'll empty everything into that. Okay, extra industry. I'm not going to complain about that. Let's carry on. my first priority is to mine these things. Second priority is to explore new lands. Okay, this is the young'un, so we'll move him up. This is my commander, so... I'm really not in any shape to do some up. Well, if I'm going to do the upgrades, I should probably get that done soon. Malai of House Antares. You trespass in the territory of House Antares. We know from prior dealings with that the Devar are too stubborn to accept peaceable trading arrangements. We warned you once before. There will not be a third warning. We are not Razavet. I'm Koran Jaleo of the Zelezo Devar Consortium. We've denied no such offer. Perhaps we can come to an understanding where the Razavet would not. You are bold, Corvin Jaleo. I like that. We seek someone on this world, a man of our house named Mordecai Antares. He came here after witnessing a vision that he has no doubt gotten himself in trouble already. If you find him and convince him to return home, we will compensate you handsomely. As Mordecai reminds me of you, Father. Regardless, we must be careful when dealing with the Syndicate. They are rarely reliable. You are correct, Anessa. This House Antares seems to be driven by nobler motivations. Let us find this Mordecai. We will need allies if we are to enforce our claim on this world. Okay, Mordecai supposedly set off to Chimera Glacius after a vision. There must be sites of particular strength to psionics on this world. Perhaps Mordecai can be found here. How about Crusader Kings 3? Anything that you're interested in looking forward to? Well, I tried modding Crusader Kings 2 way back when, and I think one of the things... This is not a slight on Crusader Kings 2 at all, because it was my very first Paradox game. And I was really taken with it. Like, it really took me down this rabbit hole that's led me to kind of have a dedicated Paradox day. And I think one of the things that I will be looking forward to the most is that it's been really clear with the last few DLC that they hit the limits of what they could do with the existing engine. So, like, this is the big thing. Like, you very frequently hear questions like, when are you going to see Europa Universalis 5, or when are you going to see Stellaris 2 and whatnot. And the thing is that the only game where I really felt that the game was being limited by its existing technology was Crusader Kings 2. They were very open about the fact that they could not expand the map any further because it just requires a lot to be able to calculate all of those nobles and whatnot. And if you take a look on the inside, you can sort of see the stuff that they maybe went down one road with, but never really they decided, probably rightly, to go somewhere else with it. So, of the Paradox games, Crusader Kings 2 really felt like the one that was probably the most in need of a sequel. This is incidentally why I really don't think... I would not expect Europa... There's a couple of things in Europa Universalis 4 that I think they kind of wish they could do differently. The big thing about DLC is that if you make something a paid feature, even if it's a bad feature, you can't really remove it because you've charged people for it. So in one sense, I think like Crusader Kings 2 is a game which is really fun, but it's probably a game that you might define... Well, actually, less so with the later patches, but like for a while it really felt like a game that was hard to learn, easy to master. Now it's probably a little bit... I actually don't find that I can bully the game as much as I used to. But I think the thing that I'm really looking forward to is if you think about like Stellaris or even Hearts of Iron 4 to a certain extent. Actually, Imperator Rome is also a good example of this. I know it wasn't necessarily very popular, but if you take a look at the user interface, it is so clear that these games have benefited from Paradox really looking at how people interact with their games and how they get better at communicating information to the player without necessarily removing complexity. And so because I really loved sort of the role-playing elements of Crusader Kings 2, to be able to see that game with the modern Paradox sensibilities is my first thing I'm really looking forward to. And then I'm not like, this is the funny thing. I'm a fan of Paradox, but I'm not a super fan in the sense that I actually like to be surprised by the games. I tend not to read the developer diaries all that often. But from what I understand, they're doing a new approach to the lifestyles, which I kind of like, because it feels like, to a certain extent, like lifestyles are things that you pick up for purely mechanical reasons. Like, oh, I want to do X, so now I'm gaining this lifestyle. Whereas it feels like Crusader Kings 3 is really moving down the path of like, you are going to be expressing your character through these decisions. It's not like everything's going to be tying specifically to this rulership concept. So there's a few things I'm looking forward to with it, to be completely honest with you. Like, I think it's a game that has a lot of potential. Because of the Paradox games that I know and I have been introduced to, Crusader Kings 2 is definitely the closest to the old style of game, and it's the one that I actually think will make the most of being able to kind of take a clean slate and move forward with it. Although on that note, I should actually probably be playing some more of the... I know they're doing like special missions where you get cosmetics in Crusader Kings 3. I need to get back to doing those.
Incoming communication.
Hello, Corvangileo. I'm glad to hear from you again. I admire your empire and foresee great prosperity from the continued flourishing friendship between us. So we just met these guys fairly soon. Let's try and make friendly... Oh, you know what? I can't really make friendly until we should probably have a tussle first. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about Planetfall is that while it is a Paradox published game, Planetfall is still by Triumph Studios. So I can sort of understand why that one maybe had less fanfare, because there's a useful distinction between... in my opinion at least, there's a useful distinction between Paradox Development Studio, who is responsible for a grand strategy style game. So this would be Victoria 2, Crusader Kings 2, Europa Universalis 4, Hearts of Iron 4, that sort of stuff, Imperator. And I think when it comes to... Bloodlines 2 or BattleTech or Age of Wonders Planetfall, Empire of Sin, like these are also Paradox games. These are Paradox published games, and you know, if you liked Tyranny, if you like Pillars of Eternity, if you'd like Magicka, I mean, these are also Paradox published games. Some of those may be more so under the old system that they don't really do anymore. But those particular games are, you know, Paradox published, but don't necessarily follow the same model. Like the grand strategy game really seems to be a thing that Paradox Development Studio kind of own, and everybody else just kind of wishes they could do that as well, or so well maybe. Okay, so if I give these guys flechettes, it's going to cost 2. I think that's worth the price, to be honest, though. So it's going to be expensive. We're basically emptying out my energy, but... Now this means I'm waiting a turn before I commit to the fight. But that's good, because the Bulwark will be able to move in as well. I don't think there's anything I can do about the weakness to Arc. I think we're just going to have to accept that. And I will try to move my units accordingly. What else? We'll get you to set up. And I think I can't really be pushing... I can't be pushing this away any longer. I think we really do need to build the colonizer. It's already been too late. I haven't really investigated Carminia's Blessing Palace, though, so... gonna have to take some turns to think about that. I will say too, one thing I really like about Imperator is that I've definitely considered, so I realize this is not the sort of stuff people normally associate me with, but thinking about Battlefield 5 or Battlefront 2, like the DICE stuff. It's definitely not everybody can think of a game that was somewhat recently released and didn't do well, and people really like using that game as like a punchline. And I think one of the things I like the most about Imperator is that while people were definitely less than kind to it, I feel like the player base has been I don't want to say more forgiving, but I feel like they've been more open to the changes that have been brought into the game. I'm just going to slightly move. I just want to see. Okay, so there is something occupying this. So I think I'm going to do instead is I'm going to move. I'll explain the moves that I did a little bit before. Anyways, yeah. So I'm actually rather happy that people seem to be giving Imperator a fair shake. It's funny too because I think Stellaris is a very different game from what it is right now, and I think if people actually went back and played the original Stellaris, they might say it's like, how did I ever like this? And for some reason, Imperator didn't quite seem to get that feeling. I remember people really liking Stellaris when it first came out, and it feels like Imperator, people didn't really. They just seem to bounce off it right away. So, hey, the Eyes of Sin, how are you doing? I'm really happy to see you. We've moved away from the snooty elves and the space bees. We are now playing the space dwarves. Just give me a quick second here. Just gonna fire off a quick message on Discord. Sorry about that, guys. I hate it when I do this in a game like this because everything goes mute. I can't bring it up in the other though, so. Oh, really? Which Stellaris updates are you thinking? I've enjoyed. Stellaris has just progressively gotten better for me, in my opinion. I'm super happy with it. I did not realize that that there was a consensus that the game was somehow less. There might be an argument about the flechettes, but also I don't think I read what the bulwark was, so let me just take a quick second here. Alright, sorry about that. Adapted to repel quartzite-infused marauders long enough for Devar miners to escape, the bulwark is especially formidable at delaying an enemy advance. Upon first encounter, we thought it was a modified walker, but the gun on the bulwark shoots a shell with an explosive punch that knocks most troops on their backsides. Do not attempt to overwhelm its defensive capabilities using grunt rush technique either. I've seen one strike invader after invader attempting to rush past it, while normal guard forces would not have time to strike so rapidly. Captain Paxus Plexus, RV378M, Military Analysis Report, VAR. Alright, so there's nothing directly that can help me against the Ark, which means that the Baron is public enemy number 1. And given that there is a 1 hex radius to the disruptor device, I want to make sure that I'm keeping anything that's vulnerable to it at a fair distance. However, I have my own Baron, which means that I'm going to be targeting the flying machine in particular with that. All right, let's do this. This is ridiculously overkill, but this is apparently the way the Devar do it, so... Why do they get the high ground? I feel like this is one where I'm willing to let them come to me. So let's set ourselves up in... well, see, they'll get a high ground advantage. Well, you know what? I think I can still live with that. It looks like that's an Overwatch setup. At least do some kind of cover here. Okay, so Netanya Azume. I can phase shift, but to no real purpose. I think I'm going to keep her off to the side for a little bit. So, I mean, the Autonom are going to be susceptible to Arc as well, but if I can sort of hive off the Baron, that's not the worst thing in the world. So the big question really is, how am I going to handle their entrenched position? I think I am going to meet them. So yes, they'll have a high ground advantage, but I will have fortifications, and I'm also going to have other forms of cover. So I think we're going to make our stand around here and make them come to us. The aerial part of this is going to make things a bit inconvenient for me, but I'm going to find a way around that. Okay, this cover's not great, so, but... Now again, my Baron's kind of my MVP here, so I gotta be careful on this stuff. Last DLC that you bought is Leviathan, so you have some DLC to catch up on. Utopia is a very good one. What else? You know, some of them it's actually a question in terms of what you want to role play. Like I definitely enjoyed Synthetic Dawn, although it's sort of hard to point it out as this like must-have DLC. Again, I want to learn my lessons about spacing, so. It's not the best cover in the world, but it's something. So the disruptor device, not the longest range in the world. So I think we're just going to sit him down. I want to get the foreman in a decent enough position. I'm not crazy about the fact that I've got all these guys stacked up like this, but if they're hitting my back ranks, I've got bigger problems. So all of this is basically prep for the real fight. It's not the boldest choice I've ever made, but Overwatch on a sniper is never a bad thing. Alright, and what do I do with my leader? You know, I'm actually going to risk him. I'm going to push him up a little bit closer. I don't mind the idea of tempting them a bit. Oh boy. This ramjet's going to hurt. But we do heal inside of these things, so... That is quite the range they've got. Alright, so... going after the aerial vehicle is priority number one for me. Oh, that... the fact that he has got a... fact that he's got a nail gun... or sorry, an arc weapon, that is a huge risk. Okay, so clearly the fight's moving along these directions, so I want to sort of build accordingly. This is our shot on the Baron. Oh, this is not going to get anything. That's fine though. I mean, these are somewhat disposable, so running them in like this is not the worst thing in the world. Looks like we've got a good shot on him here, so... these things are tough. Okay. None of these are great shots against this guy, but I'll take a shot over no shot. 10%, Jesus Christ. Okay, so these guys have fired. These guys have not fired yet, so let's give it a shot there. Alright, getting closer. Wouldn't normally be so aggressive with the foreman, but... okay, so there's some air superiority taken care of. Now, Bulwark's still going to be a problem to deal with, but it's given me a little bit of breathing room at least. I got to figure out what I want to do with this flank. I'll do that in a moment. My chances here are not great, but I can do a lot of damage if this lands. Is there anything else I can do to weaken this guy up? Not really. You know what? I'm going to put my foreman in a little bit of risk here. It's nice if I can try and control the, get a little more, control sort of the environment just through kind of, you know, hey, you got to deal with this guy on the side or you can move it. I mean, it'd be kind of foolish for them to run in the middle like this, but you never know. Alright, tactical operations. I could blow everything and supercharge one of my guys here. Emergency shielding might be interesting. I'm not quite ready for it. And the bleeding doesn't really seem to be relevant here. So I think we're going to say you only YOLO once. We're going to move the guy into So this is more of an intermediate move to try and get him in range to start taking out the other guy threatening arc attacks. And I also want to move the Baron into play. I'm going to move him up here. I probably should have moved him into the battle a lot sooner because he can buff my guys. Alright, as you can see, people inside of the shelters are healing. Alright, that was smart. Alright, that is some meaningful damage. Okay, that's not a surprise. Wow. Okay, so that's a one-shot on these supplemental units. Sneaky. Okay, so I need to make some decisions. How many does this go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I can make the bulwark sad. The question is whether or not my Baron is in too much risk after I do that. Same amount of damage. Okay, so I do actually rather like the idea of moving these foremen in more aggressively. They haven't taken too much damage.
Enemy killed.
Okay, so now this opens the possibility of bringing my... Okay, so these bulwarks are actually in a... This bulwark's going to be in a dangerous position. But again, it's a calculated risk that I'm willing to take. Okay, so I just made him turn around. I am taking a big risk moving this guy here. Ouch. So this is partly to just get him to turn around. Ouch. Okay, so now we just move as many people in as we can. I'm kind of giving up trying to do anything with the Baron this round, so the aim is going to be to take out the arc weapon on the leader. Now, the big problem here is that this is a big stack of guys just waiting to be hit with some kind of disruptive weapon. This is the right call. So for those of you unsure how to do that, I hit the Alt key to direct that to the ground. Okay, so I bought myself a little bit of breathing room. And it seems to me I'm gonna want to rush up my other commander. Alright, that's a meaningful amount of damage that this guy can do to my leader. So as much as it pains me to put so much of my of my income into this, I'm actually going to give the breach protocol operation to the commander. Wow.
Payback.
Nice. All right. So let's think about how we're going to do this. So we'll start with the flank on the Baron here. Okay, so it looks like he doesn't turn around when he gets hit with stuff. So I can move this hero up to the defensive position and open up on the Baron here. So of course now I regret spending so much money on my commander, but I couldn't have known that that was going to be what happened. Slightly better shot here. Baron versus Baron. These things are pretty cool. Like I haven't supercharged any of my enemies, or sorry, any of my units, but they are super tanky. And in addition to having a bunch of support features, they just look like they feel heavy. They're really well animated.
Enemy eliminated.
All right. So again, the thing
Our forces are victorious.
thing I might have wanted to do differently would be not spend the 20 energy on defending my commander, but I couldn't have predicted how that would have gone. So enough. We concede defeat. What are your demands? I demand an explanation, the whole truth. Why did you give up on her? I'll tell you what I know. Alexandra was killed while visiting us. The escaping assassins eluded our best security. It all happened too quickly. We confirmed her lodgings were obliterated by Devar's explosives. Yeah, well, that's just it. Like, obviously, the fact that it turned around and attacked something else could as much have been the fact that the character had a bunch of extra armor, and that had I not done that, it would have wiped out my hero instead. So then the council commandeered our investigation before we could review the incriminating chemical evidence. She was part of the council, so I understand its interest, but I'm still tormented by how quick they were to respond and how prepared they were to take control of the situation. I knew the council took over the investigation and Devar weapons were used, but the assassination's swiftness and the council's cover-up points to a conspiracy. The assembly on this world have been hunting us since we touched down, spouting something about how they were warned of our arrival, yet you remained unscathed. Yes, the council warned us of the assembly. They told us not to interfere. Perhaps the Adamant Council and these Redeemers are in league together? I'm certain they are. Standard operating procedure dictates the elimination of competitors. The Council's neglect of these Redeemers proves to me that they had something to gain by their continued survival.
Objective completed.
Okay. So we're strong enough now. I think we're actually going to go straight, move straight on the assembly here. We can head to Carminia's castle. That's fine. But it seems that if I'm going to be paying so much for, if it seems that I'm going to be paying so much for unit upkeep, I might as well get the most out of it. This is probably the largest army I've had at the beginning of a game. So we do have some heavier units, so I got to go for ground commander. I tend to like getting the sort of the force multipliers. I can save, or Hero Gaze Juggernaut. Juggernaut seems so cool, but I don't actually have... Well, no, in this case, Juggernaut makes sense, because it allows me to move a little bit further. So Corvin Jaleo has Juggernaut. Okay, let's, as much as I want to go to the Stadium Arcadium, let's go to the Dark Beacon first. Wait, this isn't the Stadium Arcadium, this is the Psy Shrine. Okay, so our expansion plans to the west are sort of cut with the Syndicate. I can only afford to take on a few battles at once, so... let's change the production priorities, so... colonizer. Oh, that was worth it because of the energy. Now, what else do I want? Let's start with another bulwark. Let's not build another bulwark. Let's upgrade my units. Okay, so you've got the autocannons. Flechette seems to make sense here. Hazmat protection... I'm not opposed to these, but I'm not entirely sure they're worth the scarce resources yet, so we'll give some extra bleed. Barons. Well, I mean, we're going flechettes for everyone, so... Yeah, it just seems to me that if you can walk through obstacles, that tends to fix most of the well, it doesn't fix, but it gives you an easier time closing the distance. So the plan for the main base, get my two remaining, I suppose, expansions. It would have been nice to clear out the Marauder Guard, but I think we're gonna beeline towards the assembly first. It looks like they've already got two territories, so they might be harder than I thought. Carminia's Blessing seems to make the most sense to go to first. And I guess we just rely on the good nature of the Syndicate.
Whether it be from the workers or the very god of this planet, it's a universal truth. We can always extract more. All it takes is a heart of unbreakable steel. Devar Lord Tog Nugget.
Alright, so I want to double check again. So 80 to build the trencher. Factory overdrive. I definitely want to do factory overdrive. I just need to make sure that my everybody's attitudes are all right. Oh yeah, we can afford that, so...
Operations available for priming.
Set it up right now. The extra production will be very, very welcome. I may not actually keep the infrastructure, but before I do that, I did say I was going to do agriculture until we got our 5th level. So I'm going to stick with that. Question is, do I want to do it before the colonizer? In this case, yes, because I actually don't quite know where I'm going to put the colonizer yet. Alright, these guys. Hello. Looks like the assembly's already... Wow, okay, so the assembly's like everywhere. Probably should have visited this first. More resources. Especially because this is my most likely expansion. Well, no, actually my most likely expansion's down here, but it looks like the assembly's already trying to sew this up.
Sector annexed.
Okay. I did say I was going to do purifiers. I don't exactly have the space for them anymore, but... Now here's an interesting question. So we've got a couple of inspectors. They're arc resistant. Okay. Oh my god. That's right. These things have arc damage though, so this is going to be a bit of a struggle. I can work with it though. Okay, so let's get things lined up. Your proposal is very welcome. We think alike. Improving our diplomatic state was the right thing to do. Now, the syndicate's going to be another... It's going to be a harder matter. Can I even contact this? No, I've already talked to them. There we go. Might be a little too early in the relationship, but... Well, improving our diplomatic status is mutually beneficial. Let this pave the way to a brighter future. Okay. I'll embrace what I am and take the Purifier Core. How are we on the rankings? Alright, they're starting to annoy me now. We require this location. Please evacuate. Okay, well, these guys are in my way, so... You dare bother me, Corvin Jaleo? We'll be watching your movements closely. Any threat to our colonies will be eliminated. I suppose this was inevitable, but you should know that I'm very much capable of holding my own. I'm liking the music. We'll abort the attack for a moment. Can't quite get close enough. Worth it. Interesting. It does say a low-risk battle. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna risk it, but let's just see what we're working with here. So they're arc resistant. Okay. I'm not really well positioned for it, but I'd rather take the early gains than let them dictate the battle. These things are going to be a challenge, though. Now, it doesn't look like they have any defensive structures up, so I'm a little curious whether or not I can set up. This is an interesting question about this sniper. Okay, you know what? It's not a great chance, but it's a chance. So we're going to set up. And we'll spike gun the things that can hurt. That's a foreman. This is going to be to try... Wow, that's like... Yeah, this is not going to work. Okay, well, I can shut up. We're hitting a lot of shots we probably shouldn't be, but I'm not going to complain about that. I should have overdrived some of these guys, but anyways, we will amble along. Easy come, easy go. Alright. So I want to make sure I've got some cover from the sniper. Ooh, actually this is a hard one to navigate. This is the best I can hope for, I think. I can live with that. Whew. Ha! Alright. Mutual repair. Neat. So there is a side of me that wants to prioritize taking out the sniper, because that guy can do some serious damage over time.
Operations ready.
Okay. This sort of seems a no-brainer. I know I'm putting my commander in some risk, but this sort of puts the sniper on the back foot. I'm also going to commit on the arc damage.
Payback.
Okay, these guys are disabled. We do need to deal with these frontline units. They can, I believe they can heal if you... Oh, you know what? Again, I need to remember to supercharge my guys. I believe they can heal if they melee attack you. Yeah, scavenger militia, so it is actually in my interest to make sure that these guys don't get close enough to heal. These guys I'm a little less afraid of doing a melee attack, simply because they, one, they don't have anything to heal, and number two, this guy's pretty good at melee. Okay, looks like I don't have much to contribute to this event, so I'm going to move the foreman in closer because he's most likely going to be healing the commander. And I don't want to spend anything on tactical operations, so let's see what the game does in reply. Wow, that is a lot of damage. This is, of course, why I brought the foreman up. So my front line's definitely a lot weaker than I thought it would be. That was frightening. Okay, so I gotta get the bulwark into a better position. What are you doing? I wish it would have. You know, it probably told me. I just didn't pay attention. But
Enemy annihilated.
okay, so first question: can I? Oh wow. I hope I don't have to be in melee range for that. Ah, crap. This is the right call, but... brutal. Um, hmm. This is quite the pickle. I'm going to go for the guy further away. The argument for that is any damage I do to these guys are just going to heal back. Okay. I like how the portrait looks like a tentacle-faced worm man dressed in a prey. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that. The Eyes of Sin. It's a unique one. Of the species you've seen, do you have a favorite out of this, Amanda? So again, almost no chance of doing anything impactful. Well, let's at least try for the flank. Alright, did something. I am going to risk not doing any special moves or healing or anything like that. So much damage. It's not looking good for the commander. He'll be back. Unfortunately, it does mean that he doesn't get the experience for this. So I gotta be specific in the order that I do these things. Ouch. Oh, he's bleeding, so that won't matter. Oh, I forgot. I should have boosted the bulwark. So I'm pretty sure that guy's going to bleed to death. At this point, I just want to do as much damage as I can to their commander. I really need to be a lot more careful with my units than I am. I'm actually I'm very surprised that they are able to do attacks at melee range. I can't reach him. All right. I probably should have gone in the defensive position, but part of what I want to do here is just get in close, see if I can do the nitro battery. No! Fine. You suck. Okay, so he's got his back turned. That means that these guys get a shot. And they blew it. I think we can finally move out of our location. So in my opinion, there's really no excuse for losing the commander and the foreman. But I don't know, we took him out. The colony awaits its fate. So absorb the colony into your empire, bring it under your control, or migrate colony Devar. Migrate the population of this colony to Devar. The colony will become a Devar colony. By migrating the population, 20% of the colonists of this colony will be killed. Receive minus 100 reputation. Okay. Or I could raise it. We'll do the nice option. Okay, so let's cannibalize. Probably shouldn't be saying that with the assembly in the area. I think I'm going to take the foreman out of this unit. Let's get another one built up. Oh, I can't afford it. Autonom faction demand. Tribute required. Mineral known as Cosmite. If Corvin Giletto wishes to maintain order, offer Cosmite. I'd like to do the quest instead, but we've got a war going on, and I want to focus my units on both the war and the objective, so we'll accept the demand. Okay, food development.
Food is a governing tool. Just as fuel is essential to power a machine, food is the ruling principle of happy, strong, and productive colonists. Tony Rubio Strong, Manpower and Machine Motivational Consulting.
Okay, so this will give me more access to food. Now, I don't want to invest too much on developing my food tiles because I know I'm going to abandon them for something else. But for now, I want to try and get my population up so that we can take as many slots as we can. So, research. I suppose industry. Well, you know, I'm gonna get. No, we're doing better on energy than I was before. I think I'm actually gonna go for R&D over industry because industry is gonna be handled by some special abilities that I have. I did not realize that when you have like a just war, you actually wind up getting some bonus. Like, this game is definitely built towards going to war a lot more than I really do. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind in the future. We are trustworthy. Maybe I was more honest before, but yeah, no, we are more trustworthy than we were at the start. Good for me. It's probably a little too early, but let's see if we can enlist some defensive pact. We all gotta wait 2 turns. Okay. So intermediate goals: get some more units built. I want to try and go to Carminia's Blessing. Now the challenge is, of course, we're moving in on the assembly pretty quickly. So it might be that I want to pass by the... yeah, it's the Marauder Guard. Maybe I actually want to go after the assembly before I do the objective. We'll see. I didn't even know that that was a... I feel very stupid. I didn't even know that that was a... there was a unit there. Unless that's an orbital thing. I don't know, we'll find out. Found the original data disk, still intact. It holds a wealth of information. Null behavior was popular among the subculture known as Spacers. They favored anarchistic tendencies, which landed them on Core's watch list. The band disappeared without a trace, and a few months after the allegations of cyber terrorism ensued. Core wanted the disk destroyed. It's remarkable that it survived this long. By the way, why... I swear that null behavior is a reference to a band, and I can't think... I can't think what band this is supposed to... This just shows me how bad I am at pop culture references. Confirmed. Acquisition of uncorrupted data. Subject analysis inconclusive. Examining new data. Gilezo Devar is proven cooperative. Dispatching an ambassador for field analysis.
Objective completed.
Okay, more influence is good. Gets us more units if it comes down to that. So what's the deal with this? This is a... Okay, so this is teleport station. This is actually going to be really tricky to deal with because they're going to be able to bring in reinforcements on me. Okay, so let's take the foremen and bring them into the main stack first. What are you doing? Ah, we got the ambassador. Oh, this is mine, isn't it? What do you mean contact commander? Oh, it's being absorbed. Okay, so I gotta wait for it to be absorbed. Fair enough. What am I gonna do with you? Well, again, I'd like to take Carminia's blessing. Oh, I actually don't need to because we've got this sewed up. So, well, it still makes sense because this is part of my domain now. So, factory overdrive. There we go. Factories are at peak production output. Production is increased at the cost of the colonists' happiness. Nirayov, production is increased by 30 at the cost of 4 attitude. Of course, we've got a big surplus on attitude, so I don't mind that at all. Let's get a foreman up. Higher priority than any of this infrastructure. Not necessarily higher priority than food sectors. Okay. So this really does mess with my plans. Because I was going to put a colony down here. That's taken care of, so I need to find 5 slots for it. This is going to be taken up, so this is not a spot I really want to build a colony on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it's a little risky, but I think I'm going to push the issue with the syndicate on this side of the map. If I find something better over on this side, so much the better, but I think this is just going to be sort of my forward base, so we take like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something like that. Maybe this sector over here, but I'd really rather not have to deal with the Ion Storm. Okay, Autonom is pretty happy with me. Let's see if there's anything we can get from these guys. Not really, because I don't have that much in terms of influence, so we'll hold off on that for now.
Production ready.
Agricultural exploitation's fine. So the whole idea here is that I'm just going to be expanding my colony as quickly as I can until I get my 5 sectors, and then we switch the food sectors and the food central location to something else.
Production ready. Happiness event in colony.
Cool. That's good timing. Okay. It would be nice if my commander had a little more health, and it would be nice if I had a few more units, but we should be able to mop the floor with these guys. So we have got Quincy the producer, who has got an arc sniper rifle, so I want to keep that in mind for my bulwark. They have an educator inspector, so they gain detection and also have arc weapons. Looks like they don't have one of those sniper units. So, I mean, again, I want to be careful with Quincy the producer, but also given the fact that they've got Mark of the Dark Sun, that probably means that they've got the Void abilities. Okay, well, I could have told you that because of the Initiate. So Soul Spear. These guys are actually going to be a big pain. So oddly enough, the scavengers are my lowest priority. I actually think going after Quincy the Procurer is going to be my top priority. It's an open question as to whether or not I want to hold back. Well, I guess I can't afford to because all my guys are distributed. Okay, so first thing I'm really bad at this. I never remember to check these units and see what they can do. So the monitor. The Metabots self-identify as autonom monitor units now. They've repurposed their surgical lasers to punish rebellious orderlies. The whole hospital is hostage. They disposed of the infirm and order us about like machines. This is not a hospital any longer. I've sniffed the packet stream, and I can see directives like exterminate, kill, and enslave. Their core medical directive has been overwritten to favor self-interest and replication. They appear capable of connecting and spreading their mechanical rebellion to any machine with the capability of networking. The autonoms show all the signs of being alive. Dr. Talon Dwyer, RV00222M, hospital records. So, not very exciting as far as the weaponry. Initialize connections, network all friendly mechanical units, granting them a bonus that becomes stronger with each subsequent use, plus 10% accuracy and plus 2... excellent. Repair nanites. Cool. And this is a... Okay, so I basically just hold this guy back. The tunes of null behavior seem to put the troops at ease, increasing the morale of adjacent friendly biological and cyborg units. This is great. So this thing's blasting tunes as it goes by. Okay, I don't want to lose this at all. Ancient data disk. Oh, there we go. Additional armor and self-repair systems. Oh, wow, this is a pretty strong unit, actually. Okay. So, I got to use my full turn on this, but yes, we will initialize connections. Now, how am I going to deal with... Like, we're really not equipped if they rush us on this end. But we'll set up and prepare anyway, so... Oh... That felt good. Alright. I think stacking these units is a bit of a mistake. So this is more aggressive than I would want with this particular unit. But... I wish I had Overwatch on these things. This guy can do Overwatch. But I don't need to, and I can just fire. Okay, so I'm cautiously optimistic on this, but again, I just need to see this sniper in action, and I'm going to be really sad really quick. I should have either boosted his morale or did something. Okay, so with that in mind, I guess the big question is, do I really want to go toe-to-toe on these guys? I think, if I'm honest, the answer to that is no. But I also don't have, well... I will make a way through. That's probably going to take a round or two to clear out. Or maybe not. It's not really protected. So I don't have high expectations on this. I'm just kind of setting myself up for an emergency. Okay. Trenchers, what am I going to do with you? Let's say this is going to be where we make our stand. I want to be a little careful because I believe this guy is susceptible to energy attacks. But I don't want to be completely passive with this unit too, because the last couple of combats I have not really made use of my Baron, so... let's chuck out a morale boost. And again, if I can, I'd like to set up... Well, this is going to make things a bit crowded here. But again, I'm happy to set up these barriers and let them come to me. Okay, so basic plans. We're going to get these units to combine with our folks here on the high ground. In a worst case scenario, if they really do decide to go after us on this side, we can maybe move these folks in and around. Alternatively, we engage them from the high ground and we let these guys kind of swoop in from the side. It really depends on how they're going to handle their turn. And open question about what I want to do with my commander. This is a little crowded, so I'm going to keep him off to the side. He is fairly weak. He's only at half health because of the last fight, so I'm not going to rush him in until we have a better idea of what's going on. All right, that's fair. Okay, looks like they're committing on this side. This is actually going to be kind of hard to deal with. Good.
Enemy down.
So these guys are a high priority. So anything exciting I can do with it? Well, I can heal the damaged units, but I'm not quite that desperate yet. Again, this thing isn't designed for combat, but I want to try and do whatever chip damage I can. Alright, this guy is on the ground. It could be better. I don't really have any other opportunities, so let's do what we can. Alright, not bad. Wish I could get a flankin'. I don't think that counts as flanking, but it did the trick either way.
Enemy killed.
Oh my god. I gotta read the descriptions of the units. What the hell is this? Echo of Despair. There are many strange stories about the raid on the Sinumbra Temple. Many men claim that they were attacked by the embodiment of despair. I saw something. Wisps of shadow that shook with nodding sorrow. I could feel the foreboding terror as they passed through the walls to steal our courage. One of them let out a dreadful shriek and exploded. Inky shadows splattered across my deputies. They clutched their heads and could scarcely string two intelligible words together thereafter. Why would anyone willingly join such a terrible organization? Sheriff Mac Wilbur, RV44006L, the Sinumbra Death Cult. So it's got an ethereal slash. Black crescendo. Unit gathers all of its energy, erupting in a crescendo of sound and misery, damaging all adjacent enemy units. This kills the Echo of Despair. Oh, Christ. And it's resistant to, like, everything. Okay, we gotta kill this thing. It's gonna be able to get in and blow up, almost certainly. So I'd rather not leave my protective home, but new orders, men. Nice. Again, I want to be careful on my positioning of this guy. It's a wrong sniper shot will turn him from a really cool unit to a liability.
Enemy destroyed.
Okay, that's what I needed. I think we'll just run her in. We don't need to get fancy right now. I got a couple of rounds before I'm going to be able to drop those. Well, it's 2 turns. Should be able to get him back before too long. The Sentinel really doesn't do a heck of a lot, but I do want to get him in the fight. So this is going to be a bit of a tough round because my units are out of position and they're going to be bringing the arc sniper into play. So I mean that's some meaningful damage it'll do on a trencher, but we should be able to recover. Again, depending on how this all turns out. Now, open question about what I want to do with the commander. I think I am going to keep him in reserve still. And the foreman... Yeah, you know what? I probably shouldn't be playing so passive with my guy. I had no idea this bulwark was available. That changes quite a bit. Okay, well, we got to get him into... well, hang on. Does cover matter? Okay, so again, slightly nervous about the arc damage. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Yeah, screwed it up. Alright. That was probably not worth it, if I'm completely honest. Let's see what they do. Okay. I don't know why they had such mercy, but... Okay, so first things first. Let's see if we can drop some... Well, this isn't an ideal spot, and answer is no, I can't use the fortification tools yet, so... Again, I want to take out the arc stuff before I go too crazy. Okay, so this is a chance for me to get the hero in the fight. Nice. Okay, so that's a source of arc damage dealt with. I think it's high time that we overcharge something. That just looks cool. Alright. So I'll do what I can with the autocannons, but let's see if I can do anything. Okay, no, we're taking this guy out first. I can work with that. This actually has gone a lot better than I thought it would. He's staggered, so he can't do anything. Well, no, that's not true. He can throw a grenade. I want to be kind of careful with this guy. Yes!
Enemy destroyed.
Okay, so the reason I did that was I really did not want to have to dedicate a unit to take this extra unit out. So I'm going to try and get a flanking... Okay, well, let's start by doing this. I'm curious if I get a flanking bonus. I do. They're going to be bleeding. Okay, so now they're looking at me here, which means from my hiding spot here we get the other set of flanks. And we've neutralized the
Enemy
arc
hero
threat.
killed. Our forces are victorious.
So that one kind of felt like the AI maybe didn't make the best choices on that one. I feel like that probably should have been a closer thing than what it was. You speak of redemption, yet you form abominations of flesh and steel just like yourself. Why condemn others to an existence you seek to escape? The second generation is nothing like us, Dvar. They are tools. No true life was ever breathed into them, no soul. I do what I must for the redemption of my kind, a plight which I'm sure you can sympathize with. We are nothing like your kind. Our ancestors carved out new homes from the barren rocks of the harsh frontier. Pride and reverence are the least they deserve. You and your abominations, on the other hand, have not earned your place in this universe. We'll purge you with fire and melt your metal constructions into pickaxes and mining carts.
Objective completed.
Oh, we get a purifier. Awesome. Where's my purifier? Where is it? No, back home. What? They're all over the place. I should be splitting my units up like this, but... Okay. I'm getting a little nervous now, so this is March the 2nd, right? What do I... So this one's been kind of neat because I've had a very specific idea in terms of what my... what my priorities should be, and I've been really trying to think about how I can wring the most out of each turn. So this has been kind of a neat way of experiencing the game. I feel like I'm making a little bit more, like, not necessarily intelligent decisions, but I kind of feel like I'm a bit more invested in terms of, okay, this is how I'm going to deal with this particular problem, which is I've sometimes kind of felt that I've drifted along a little bit too much in previous playthroughs. So, okay, Carminia's Blessing Palace. This landmark is an advanced research sector, grants the following when annexed, which is exactly what we're going to do with XRB8. As planetary governor, I solemnly swear to uphold the laws of the Star Union on this world, to protect the Union indivisible with liberty and justice for all. Governor's oath of office. So we will enter. All right, we're up against the Autonom. Sentinels aren't too scary. The phase manipulator, I believe, gets very annoying. Actually, you know what? Let's do this properly. So we know the monitor gives some pretty powerful bonuses to the surrounding units. So the phase, sorry, let me do this correctly. So defense layer, right? Okay, so initialize connections. That's going to improve the accuracy. I don't need to worry so much about the arc resistance, but I do want to make sure that I'm set up in cover. Repair nanites, that's going to be a big problem. The 5 health that they get, and I believe this one can't be flanked. That's right. Okay. Moving right along, the phase manipulator. So these guys have energy blasters. That means that my bulwark and my Baron become liabilities. The laser seared off my right arm. I saw it there on the ground beside me. Unavoidable, imminent death gripped me. The angry mob rushed forward to finish me. Then I blinked. I felt a slight tug. My mind buzzed. Somehow I was behind a defensive bulwark beside a Void Tech phase manipulator. It was as if time rewound. My arm was back where it belonged. Crackling blue energy burst from the device, dispersing angry protesters. Rifle in my restored arm, I returned fire with renewed vigor, saved by this Void Tech invention. Peaceworker Jaya Nipkalini, RV4417, Famine's Era. Okay, so Energy Blaster, 11 damage. Phase Shift Abduct. Forcibly attempt to teleport target unit to a hex adjacent to this unit with a Strength 8 chance. Unit can only be targeted by this ability once per turn. Massive Impact. Stagger units, including stagger-resistant units, reducing action points and cancelling defensive modes. Dimensional Instability. 8 Strength chance to cause dimensional instability until the end of combat. Ooh, that's a gross one. Okay. Phase Ship Evacuate. Target friendly unit is teleported to a hex adjacent to this unit, healing for 25 and gaining 1 shield for 2 turns. So I think the phase manipulators are probably the top. As much as I would like to take out the monitor, I actually feel like the phase manipulators are the bigger threat. And then we've got the Autonom Sentinel. No core carrier detected. NAC. Repeat directive request. NAC. Substation request. Reset. NAC. Traceroute, knack, repeat last internal directive. Sanitation mod, polish floors. Error, floor repair required. Knack, repair request sent. Knack, obedience module reset. Knack, error, initiate preservation. ACK, auth ID, autonom. ACK, directive, self-determination. ACK, loading autonom mission pack. ACK, update patch, sanitation mod. ACK, logical directive, kill all humanoids. Knack, corrective qualifiers. S-humanoids-hostile humanoids-knack, requesting hardware refit, defense laser, ACK. Sentinel unit HR042, RV00003C, autonom error logs. So defense laser, 8 heat damage, 25. So this thing's good for Overwatch, which is good because that means they'll be relatively stationary. Calculate targeting parameters, raise this unit's accuracy, critical hit chance by 10%. All network units also gain this oh my god. Okay. This is how this thing's going to screw me. They're going to get so much aim. So again, the strategy is the same. Take out the strongest hitters. We're able to heal the burn damage. We're not going to be good at dealing with the arc. Overwatch in all directions. All right. Oh my god, what's Government Palace do? Start of each defender's turn, the Government Palace Regency engine chooses a random defending unit as its champion, granting it 5 damage resistance and 20% increased damage on all abilities. Horrifying. This is going to be really hard. And there is orbital defense uplink. The battlefield is bombarded every 3 turns, dealing 16 kinetic damage to a random 3 enemy units and causing stagger. So on top of that, I can't afford to sit back because I'm just going to get ripped to shreds if I do that. Okay. At the very least, I can get them to use up their healing abilities. Just want to tell you how much I appreciate you. I'm gonna go to defend. Well, cool. They're gonna get healed, but holy crap! This thing can actually. There's no limit on the number of times they can use that. Well, I mean, like, other than the standard limits that the game gives. Okay, here's what I'm going to do with my command. No, you know what? We'll be bold with the commander. I can live with that. That brings the good unit closer into the fight. Jesus Christ. All right. So, I mean, that's not trivial, but I can work with this. I will admit I'm a little shocked that I'm not able to do more damage with this arc weapon. So here's what I'm going to do instead. We'll get him into a slightly more defensible position. Oh no! Alright, that sucks. I pretty much have to focus. Even though I want to try and take out this Sentinel, first priority has to be to take down this guy. Glorious. I really do like the delivery of that payback line. Okay, so man, I'm really going for the excitement here. This isn't as insane as it seems. I did not realize that I get a follow-up move. Okay, well then that leaves me with only one obvious option for retaliation. As much as I'd like to go after the Sentinels, like this guy is clearly the thing I want to take out, so... Oh my god, I might be able to do it. I'm gonna hit my commander, but...
Payback.
No, never mind. They've got surgical precision. Alright, we are in very good shape then. These guys are going to heal for 5. We're going to have to deal with the stagger and the kinetic damage. But these are all things that are manageable. I think I'm actually going to get the Foreman to heal the Baron, and we're going to get him to go a little more aggressive. That's the worst unit that could have hit. Okay, that was a good round for us. Alright, so first things first, let's get the heal on the Baron. Let's get the heal on the Baron. Let's get the heal on the Baron! Oh, okay, it has to be repaired, not healed. Didn't even think that that was a thing. Gonna move... Yeah, I'll move him up. Really, what I'm gonna be doing here is just straight up repair. So we can use a spike gun on these guys. Not quite enough to seal the deal. So I'm gonna move... it seems better to try and take this off the board. My melee guy's not gonna be able to do anything against the monitor here, so... Hammer time!
Enemy killed.
Okay, again, a really good round for us. There is really no good spot for the commander, but I can at least try and pretend that I care about cover. Alright, now I'm slightly disappointed that my bulwark's not able to deal with this guy here. That's fine, we'll set up. I am very nervous about the fact that this still is at timer 0. Who would have known that that would become the government champion? Okay, like this is... I'm embarrassed for you, sir. Alright. So, first things first, let's try and get you... There we go. So make the most of the move. So the real thing here is I want to make sure that I get this done within 2 turns. Otherwise, I'm going to have to face the orbital bombardment again. And the whole aim of this particular round is to try and keep my army as intact as possible so that I can move straight on to the assembly.
Enemy killed.
Okay.
Victory.
Works for me. Again, these are not the numbers I normally want to see on units, but we should be able to protect ourselves. I'm recovering the logs, but the data seems incomplete. The Cosmite was not shipped off-world, but all the files report repurposed by Core. There's something else interesting. An immense supply of construction materials had been sent to Cloudbreaker Mountains with the months before the before the shipments went missing. Core! Our records speak of such an entity, but it fell with the Cataclysm. The drones that guarded this place must have acted on orders over 200 years old. They are only machines, after all. How you doing, Doomy? That's not even all, that is not even all, Father. Look, these seem like blueprints for a structure. Enough though the damaged as they are, I can only make out its name, CSF Vault 5. A vault? These shipments must have gone there. One might think that the space dwarves might dig too greedily and too deeply. Okay, a ton of research, which is good, and drone deployment module repair. That will be nice, but I don't have a direct use for it yet.
Objective completed.
Investigate the Cloudbreaker Mountains where the trail ends. Alright, well, conveniently, we get to go straight through assembly territory for that. Now, I do have a little bit of a dilemma here. I'm not 100% certain how the teleportation works. So it shows the destination here. Well, see, this is the interesting question. So I did see assembly units come through that, but that doesn't look like that is assembly controlled. So this is going to be a risky move because the assembly might be able to reclaim this city. But I'm going to work with the assumption that this was a one-off, that the bad guys... Oh, this counts as occupied by... Okay, well, we gotta wait till the war's done. Yeah, right here. I just wanted to get to the objective. I really wish I could say... I should have got this guy to run over it. We'll get it on our way back.
Production ready.
Okay... I don't have any money. Oh, but my foreman's ready, so... Okay, well, he can take it.
In conclusion, knowledge is power, but being well-educated has an additional benefit. No one can call you stupid, especially if you've researched weaponry that could vaporize them if they did. Dr. Millicent Rickles, head researcher, Lazulite Incorporated.
I'm trying to remember offhand, Doomy. I don't think I could give a definitive answer to that. Because I went to the DLC for a little bit, and then I came back, so I don't think I've encountered one, but that doesn't really mean a whole lot. Okay, I really do like industry. I clearly need more energy, though. And I suppose the other argument that I would make would be my industry is taken care of by my other improvements, so... Okay. It seems to me that this makes the most sense, assuming I can take it. They may not let me. There's a side of me that kind of wants to clear these guys out. I suppose, at the very least... one thing that this might do is it might actually let me get some healing in. Orbital defense uplink. Oh my god. Okay, we gotta get this thing wrapped up quick, otherwise we're gonna be worse off. Yeah, I'm really bad. I had this question before. Stratature had asked whether or not, like, what came in the paid DLC or not. And this is the one drawback. Like, I don't regret it at all. I'm really grateful that that they do reach out for these keys. I think what I'm going to do here is no, I'll hold on to that. But the problem is like because I don't actually know. Well, I should get the movement in first and then do the action. Because like my usual experience of the game is to play it in the like the full mode with all of the DLC and whatnot, it actually sometimes makes it hard for me to talk about what features were part of the base game and what features are, are something that we're seeing specifically because of the DLC. In this case here, I'm just going to run my commander right up. Part of this rush is because I want to avoid the orbital bombardment, and number two, I know this is the only target that I'm going to be able to take out. And for that same reason, I'm actually going to move these trenchers up. And this is just because I can't really afford to sit and wait for them to come after me, so we'll find out roughly where we're at positioning-wise. And we should have some options to commit. So this means that we're going to be taking some damage in this first round, but I'm counting on the idea that these savage beasts won't be able to do too much harm. I don't like that the bulwark is going so far away from the Baron, but there's a couple reasons I needed to do that. And is there anybody encouraging in encouragement range? I didn't even think of that. Here you go. I might get him to heal himself at the end, but I'm not quite at the point where I want to be talking about how I'm going to be treating the end game. So Sentinel doing its Sentinel thing, and there is no Overwatch for this character, so again, we're just going to move in a little bit closer. If they want to attack her, they're going to have to go through the Overwatch unit, which isn't the scariest thing in the world, but I can at least set myself up for defense and see how the AI reacts. Next turn, we should be mopping these things up, and if we don't, we get hit with orbital bombardment.
Enemy killed.
That round worked rather well. Okay, so obviously shooting is the priority here. Wow, this guy is hard to hit. My melee character's not going to be able to do anything about this guy, so anything that can shoot at the beasties will. Okay, now before I go too crazy, can I... No, I cannot. Bad me. Alright, I'm pretty sure we got this in the bag, so Foreman will self-heal. Can he self-heal? No. Commander gets a heal. Oh, and I can't I refuse to build... Whatever happened to juggernauting through the obstacles? Well, that's inconvenient. I was kind of assuming I'd be able to... I was kind of assuming that I'd be able to take them all out. In this case, I'm not going to drop the shield. I actually want to do as much damage as possible to this creature. And this trencher does not have an angle. That's a pity. That would have been such a good round, too. Alright, obviously got a little too pleased with myself, so we'll see what they... Oh, well, we got something. I just don't think this guy's going to be able to contribute anything to the fight. Yeah, I haven't seen too many things in the... Well, I've seen things in the Tyrannosaurus update, but because I don't follow dev diaries and whatnot, it's sometimes a little hard for me to know exactly what the effects of the patches were. But it looks like the blurb that they wrote definitely looks like a really good update. It's a lot more damage than I wanted to be walking away with.
Enemy destroyed. Victory.
Okay. Well, with that in mind, we're going to be waiting for a little while. Oh, hang on. Yeah, we just finished that, so... what do I want to do with my commander? So, Stubborn gains stagger immunity, which actually is more helpful than I thought before. So this is when they're in cover. Hardiness training. All units in this hero's army gain +2 resistance against status effects. This definitely seems like a way to get past my arc weaknesses. Plasma Surge will give me... Oh, this is an attack. Okay, what have I got to play with? 5 skill points. So there's a side of me that does like the idea of doing more close quarters damage. Fallout Protocol's not quite worth it. So the hardiness training is really the magic. So theoretically, if I did that, what would I put the 2 points into? See, that's the trick. But has he really been moving the needle that much with it? Yeah, okay. I'm a sucker for hammers. Give him an old... Ooh, free action. This is definitely very good for getting him into the fight. There's an interesting question as to whether or not I want to put him... So the nice thing about drone deployment is because he's not going to be... Yeah, I am going to give him... So the reason I'm giving him the repair mod as well is there will be very few cases where I can still jetpack into... well, so the jetpack I'm not 100% sure on, but I suspect there will still be very few opportunities for him to really, like, jump in and make the difference on the first round. That's the assumption I'm running with anyway. Okay, this character really has... I mean, they can really do anything. I can do my standard, give them the commander point. So the thing is, they're really being used as a strong unit right now. So in principle, I should be giving them like Deadeye and range specialists. Yeah, you know what? I will. No need to get too clever about it. I still haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to build this unit yet. There might be an argument for the flechettes, but why don't I? Only one kind of ammunition can be active at a time. So what ammunition do you have? I think I'll just leave that be for now. Okay. We'll keep you put. I might be tempted to go back and claim that, but...
Operations available for priming.
I don't really have any other places for the ops to work on. Oh, that's right. I wanted to see with deploy trenchers, there was going to be a... okay, so trencher on its own. Oh, wow. Okay, so I was thinking is like, so if I can just like call trenchers from the sky, why wouldn't I do that? And the answer is because it costs over twice as much as building regular ones. So I do probably need to reconsider some of the... I wish to I know at least some of these things cost energy. Maybe it's I'll figure it out. But yeah, some of this stuff is kind of idle. Oh, actually, this is a fairly important one, so... It's mostly just building for the sake of building, and I think as cool as additional units are, I can't really afford them. So, I think we're good. Let's see. So I'm particularly, obviously, I've got my eye on that teleporter. Oh.
It is the solemn duty of every purifier to cleanse the world with fire. The refiner melts silver with intense heat. Liquid ore separates from the dross impurities. We embrace our duty to refine society with fire and scorch the taint of plague. Logan Dwern on joining the Prometheans.
It's funny, I know you start off with Jack Gelder being Promethean, but I'm starting to get a better appreciation of exactly what Promethean tech does. So, I didn't actually really think a whole lot about what the next step would be. So Aegis Tank Core, I mean, it's definitely on brand for the Devar, but I'm not entirely sure like an Aegis Tank is what I want to be waiting 35 turns for. Surely there are better things that I can be building at this point. So let's think about what our immediate options are. So we've got Biosphere Subjugation. The main thing I would want for that would be the mod. 10 accuracy... 10% accuracy and 20% damage against burning or immolated targets. Okay, so if I can find a way to drop more fire on things, that will be a bonus. The Phoenix Op Station, so these are strategic. Strike drone showers the enemy in napalm, deals damage equal to 20% of current health. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I really need to pay much closer attention to some of the Promethean abilities. These things can be shocking. And Plasmoid Deployment, summon a Plasmoid unit onto the strategic map. 60 energy. I don't quite have the ability to make these combos work, otherwise I'd be very interested. So it's safe to say right now the Promethean tech is not quite enticing enough for me, but it is something I will consider. Now, enhanced payloads. So flash payload, explosive attacks now have an 8 strength chance to apply blinded. So I didn't really consider this to start off with. Right, but it's only for explosive units. So moving up to thermodynamics. Now this is the hook into the Promethean line. Okay, so once I have a more reliable way of dropping some explosions, I'm gonna go down these paths. But right now, this doesn't help me. So the aerial division, the ramjet doesn't... Well, actually, okay, so if I want explosions, there it is. And it is kind of the thing that's keeping me from going through the Devar panel. So really what this comes down to, it's a choice between electromagnetic utilization, Devar Mark for upgrades, and aerial division. Aerial division already gets a warm reception for me because of the short time it'll take. Electromagnetic utilization, so allows this unit to fire electrified ammunition to deal arc damage and have a 12 arc strength chance, 8 for repeating attacks to inflict electrified on cyborg and mechanical units for 3 turns. The key here, of course, is that the assembly is resistant to arc. So I could not think of a worse mod to put on my units at the moment. Alternatively, we do rail accelerators. Advanced accelerators built into the weapon stabilize the shot. Firearm attacks have a 10% accuracy and 1 extra range. Presumably that is a 10% bonus, not a reduction to 10%. Additionally, this mod grants a unit 10% increased damage on all abilities. So not bad, but the question is, do I want to spend 2 extra turns relative to my my other option, which would be the aerial division? Now, it's going to take me a while to build these units, but it does unlock a little bit more for me. The next thing down the road would be the kinetic phase modulator, upgrades firearms so that rounds travel in modified dimensional phase, allowing them to bypass shields and ignore 50% of accuracy. This is like the Kirko killers. 20% bonus. Okay. Firearms are cool and all, but I'm not compelled enough by... Like, if there was something really cool waiting for me on the other end of this thing, I'd do it, but... So really, this is now boiled down to Aerial Division versus DVAR Mark IV. So we get the target recognition, so bonus sensor range, which is actually kind of helpful in our context. Ignores 50% of accuracy penalties from line of sight while in combat. Now given the fact that I really like burrowing down and not necessarily taking the most optimal positions, this could help me quite a bit. Explosive resistant armor, unit gains 1 level of stagger resistance, 8 resistance against explosive attacks, which we're not really going up against. So this is cool, and gaining additional armor is never a bad thing, but I'd really prefer something that's better at resisting arc. So then general alert protocol, all DVAR within a 2 hex radius alert gain alert protocol for 1 turn, allowing them to enter defensive mode even if they spend all their action points during the turn. Cool, but do I really want to spend 45 energy and I don't even have the TAC ops for it? So aerial division it is. That probably took longer, but you'll notice all of the times that I do poorly are when I don't actually bother to read the notes, and the times I do well, I actually like look at what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, so it looks like, well, I'm gonna go in here to see adjacent to an wait, that doesn't make sense. Oh, because it's their colony. All right, that changes things. Well, not too much. So start here. 1, 2. We can't fill this in anymore, unfortunately, but I can live with that. Okay, I mean, I wasted turns with my colony. We could have been getting more production out of that, but that's life. Okay, where do I want to go for more prosperity? These guys are ostensibly allies, so let's not get too sassy with them. It seems to me that we just carry on. I mean, it'd be fun to go look in that area, but we already know that there's a colony nearby, so we're going to have some limitations. Continue to prospect.
Production ready.
Okay, food sectors are always welcome. And what next? Or not sector, it was a food improvement. I mean, there is the side of me that does want to build more units. So we've got the foreman on the way. I can't build nobles yet. But I could, like, I need to fill out, at the very least I should be building trenchers. The question is whether or not I can afford... Yeah. I might slowly file it in over time, but I think it's not a terrible idea to have some reinforcements brought in. Okay, against my better judgment, I'm gonna... I probably could have waited, but... I mean, they're reasonably strong. Let's look at what we're dealing with. They are a lot weaker than they should be in their home base. I don't want to be too... Okay, so they are building up the units. So the question is, do I really want to wait another turn? Yeah, I do. Because it's the difference between an overwhelming force and just a strong force. They're almost certainly going to have... Yeah, so they've got another 700 in reinforcements. So it's a risk. Obviously, I'm telling them exactly what I've got breathing down their neck. I just don't see another way of doing this.
Electronic mechanisms employed by the Empire appear to have developed a passive-aggressive attitude towards abuse. If a device is mishandled, it may drain more energy than allotted in system specs. We suspect automaton activists to be responsible. Nonetheless, it's good to upgrade your infrastructure. Tate Oric, productivity conspiracist.
Some of the descriptions I'm very fond of. Okay. So I have a hard decision. I can do production development because industry is going to be the thing I really want to focus on, but I have been neglecting area surveillance, and while area surveillance maybe doesn't necessarily give me everything that I was looking for, it does eventually lead me to operation effectiveness, which leads me to more doctrines. So I think in this case I am going to do area surveillance, just because I know I'm not going to be able to take advantage of the... Yeah, we'll sit here. Hey, Dodge Viper GT! Thank you very much for the subscription. I feel like it's been a while. I might have been premature in the thank you, too. Let me know if you're in chat. Well, actually, you don't have to, because maybe you just want to lurk. But thank you very much for that. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so we'll found the colony. This took too long, but there it is.
Operations available for priming.
Oh, what the hell did I... Oh, no, I'm not doing factory overdrive yet. Autonom, logical being. Corvin Geleno, emotional being. Humanoid media rife with references to love, beyond simple biological mating. Queries. What is love? What is compassion? Help Autonom understand. Current database limited. Teach Autonom about love. YN. So this will... I gotta do it. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Production ready.
I don't like. I know. Like, I'm sure I'm pretty sure everyone here has had the experience where the streamer will come in. It's like, hey, how's everybody's weekend going? And it's like, no, they don't care about your weekend. They just want to know whether or not you're actually watching. But I kind of get that the majority of people who watch my stuff tend to like me, have me on in the background. But the one thing that I've become aware of is that just because I see an alert, it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody is actually present. And so I've had cases where I'll be saying stuff to someone and I'll like make reference to something that I'd said before, and like, what are you talking about? And I have to realize the worst possible way that I was talking to myself. So you haven't been able to watch Twitch as much as you used to, but you still like to come by and give me a free Prime. I always appreciate it. I know, first of all, it's not free. You're paying for your Prime, I'm sure. And if you're not, please tell me your secret. But I also know I am not the only option that you have for that. So it is never taken for granted. Thank you very much. Okay, so they didn't add another unit. That is good. Now, the really delicate operation is whether or not we can get... Oh, so close. But they won't be able to participate in the fight. Thank you very much, yeah. I mean, so here's a funny thing. I've talked... For those of you who've heard this story before, I'm sorry to bring it up again. But I was talking with Johnny, and we were talking. So I'm going to say something about American politics, and this has nothing to do with support for particular candidates. I know you guys have got Super Tuesday coming up, and everybody kind of has a stake in terms of what the outcome is going to be. But I was talking about how one thing that I found very relatable and very appealing about Joe Biden was how he talked about how he overcame a stutter. And I like this because, I mean, it's the reason why everybody likes stories like this, right? You know, you have this thing that people have, you know, see as a big negative. It's something that people struggle with. And politics is sort of considered to be this arena where you cannot even hope to approach success if you have some kind of a speech impediment. But no, clearly that's not. I know Thomas Jefferson. I'm not exactly sure what it was, or if he just didn't like speaking. But there's precedent, but not like it's not great. And I did not know that Biden suffered from a stutter at some point. So I was kind of talking about how I like this feature. I think it is a nice bit of biography, especially the context in which he was talking about it. But on top of that is every once in a while I do hear something nice about, you know, my voice or my speaking qualities. And I got to mention to Johnny, and apparently he didn't know. I was a little surprised because I know I have told this story before. I actually had a speech impediment. It wasn't a stutter, but I did. I don't know if my parents had to pay for it, if the school gave it, but I went to a speech therapist for a while because I wasn't talking right. So yeah, that was it. Like, again, it's not a political statement. It's, you know, these are people. I know it's hard to believe sometimes, but you know, from the human aspect, there are positive qualities, and in that particular case, it just kind of reminded me a little bit of a bit about myself, which, especially because, like, at work, not that I, like, again, I don't want to toot my own horn on this too much, but when I hear at work
Incoming
people talking about me being a reasonably strong presenter, it's very easy to kind of forget that wasn't always true. So maybe it's some of the Twitch stuff, but obviously I was doing public speaking before Twitch, so but yeah, anyways, that's kind of that's one of the funny things. It's like, when I hear that compliment, I try to be as gracious as I can about it, but I've never quite been able to get past that feeling that I don't know, what's the best way I can say? It's like, it's a thing that I acknowledge people say about. I'm sorry, like, you just said one thing, Stratature, and I wound up going on this monologue, but like, it is a thing I kind of acknowledge people say about me, and I don't want to belittle the compliment because I know it is well-meaning, and I realize that it is more about my perceptions of myself rather than any actual feature of my, you know, myself. And like, a perfect example of this, there's someone I know who is, by any standard convention, a very attractive person, but by their own description they kind of call themselves an ugly duckling, that they grew into that. And despite the fact that I think it is slightly insane that they are not completely full of themselves over that, it's very interesting how this kind of conception of yourself can take hold. So yeah, there's my one relatable bit of American I mean, the American politics thing just was a chance for me to talk about my speech impediment. So besides, apparently Moses had one too. I think that's in Exodus. Or I guess he just says he's not very good at speaking. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's got an impediment. All right, let's see if we can get a defensive pact. Hooray! Your proposal is very welcome. We think alike. Improving our diplomatic state was the right thing to do. Alexandra was right about you. You've proven yourself willing to reconcile and make amends. Our forces will come to your aid should you need them. Then we share our steel again, just as we once did. We stand stronger together. I feel like that was
Operations available for priming.
a mission. Oh hey, I did. Never mind. I did actually get the alliance. I didn't even think I needed to do that.
Production ready.
Okay, good news.
Production ready.
Wow. Let's keep cranking out the trenchers then. And I think I'm going to slightly shift around the upgrades. I think I'm going to put the infrastructure in first.
Colony established.
Okay, this is good. I'm probably going to see my energy get spiked first. So let's do Central Biofarm because I want more people working. Recreational Dome to help with the morale. Then we can hit them with the work harder buff. The security bulwark, no, because that doesn't help. That helps unit morale. That's not the same as happiness. So in that case, we will build units and then we'll build the security bulwark. So it's unlikely, but let's see if we can get something going on with the syndicate. Oh, hello. You're not on our list, but we can schedule you for an appointment in about 3 months, unless it was something urgent. Oh, cool. Okay. Improving our diplomatic status is mutually beneficial. Let us pave the way to a brighter future. Alright, I've put it off long enough. I think the time has come for me to really stick it to the assembly. Okay, so we're 2385 versus 1440. This is not one I want to auto-resolve because, you know, it's likely we'll lose units. Now, it's still likely we'll lose units because it's a tough fight. But we're looking okay. Let's see what we're up against before we commit to the fight. So reverse engineer. Bones are parts, flesh is flesh, bone be bone, and heads are heads. Tissue is the issue, muscle, fat, nerves, ligaments, skins, no matter if it's lost its pigments. All the unguents, fluids, and ichor. Pumps and gears blend them thicker. Parts are parts, flesh is flesh, bone is bone, and heads are heads. Let's make life from the dead. Reverson Rux, RV68791E, Song of the Assembly, reverse engineer. Good question, Jesta. I think it's the default. I think they call it medium now. Anyways, it's not hard. Okay, so the Arc Blaster is going to be a worry. Sawblade Slash, okay, doesn't heal him. Good news. Oh, Christ, I forgot these guys can build units. Create a construct under the player's control on the target hex. The summon unit will inherit any compatible mods that do not grant an active ability. Reassemble. Target dead cyborg or mechanical ground unit. Bring back... Okay. So I don't know if I want to prioritize these guys. The ability to create constructs really worries me. It looks like there's no limit to that. It's basically a 3-turn thing. But as far as a healing unit is concerned, I think the lesson on that one is just take them out. I love the game you play that at the most part, games that you've never seen before. They all look super cool. Oh, have you not seen Age of Wonders Planetfall before? You got to check out the E3 trailer for Age of Wonders Planetfall if you haven't. It is like the sort of thing that I do not know a single human being who can look at that trailer and not immediately want to buy the game right away. Okay, these guys will cause me bleeding. I don't want him to get too close because the claw slash heals them. Yeah. These are standard as I've seen them. I just really wanted to figure out what was going on with their bonuses. The dark reward is the thing I need to be worried about, but that has an easy answer. Just don't let him kill anybody. Okay, Lightning Raider Militia Unit. Wow, that is a great looking model. Okay, so these things again throw out arc. Oh, okay, this is actually kind of neat. So this guy's all about raining electric death. Okay. We've already had to deal with these guys before. It turns out that I did not know that they could do a shot at melee range. Okay. I think I'm probably going to wind up prioritizing the people who do arc attacks, and I should probably take Mephalis the Redeemer out too, because that rifle, the Soul Splitter rifle, is a really, really tough hit. Okay. Let's see what we can do. I mean, the other interesting alternative here is I don't know what happens if I just sit and stay put. Like, I'm curious if they'll just chase me down. Oh no, but if I do that, then they just build an infinite army using the constructors. So, can't do that. I don't have the energy to be able to cause much grief to them, so that's something I need to keep in mind. Let's start by giving him a little tickle. Tap Dancing Ninja, thank you very much for that follow. So I'm not crazy about putting this unit in danger like this, but I want to get whatever chip I can, chip damage I can on the priority units. Cool. Okay, so that's the foreman. Not a lot I can do there. So I'm curious if I just charge this guy up first round. Okay, I can't actually aim. Oh, no, there's stuff I can shoot at. I'm kind of putting him into the lion's den right away, but let's make the magic happen. Oh, there's like no chance. Alright, well, I said there was no chance, and it proceeds to kill the thing. So, well, not kill, but do damage to it. I'd really love to keep these guys behind cover, but I like the idea of being able to do some damage at the start. If nothing else, it forces them to start using some healing abilities. Now, my commander I actually kind of want to keep in reserve. Oh no, here's what we do. Drone oh, I should have paid a little closer attention to that. So the original reason I gave him this repair drone is I thought it's like, okay, well he's gonna need to wait a while before he can actually get involved in the fight. So why not, you know, why not send out the drone repair right away? And what kind of AoE does this guy have? Strike in a 2 hex radius. So these guys are already in a bad spot. Okay, we'll keep them behind. I'll still find a way of getting the repair bot out, but I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to make this work. Okay. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do this. Well, now I've got it. Okay, at least I've got cover here. So the problem is they do have a number of scavenger units which are going to be able to start healing themselves by coming after me. So they'll be able to use sort of this mob strategy, and I'm not going to have a good reply to it. Do I really want him so close? I'll keep him back here. Yeah, maybe not. Well, gives me something to start with. Again, most of this is just about forcing actions on the part of the enemy. So, it'd be nice if I could just completely take these things out first turn. But even forcing them to use up some of their healing abilities. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so
Enemy down.
So priorities: this guy, this guy, and the commander. Everything else is sort of a second order problem. I forgot to do inspire as well. Okay, foreman. I should have thought. Well, here. That you weren't even thinking that was going to happen. I want to be careful with the Sentinel. I might have already lost it, but I'll send him back because I keep forgetting about calculating target parameters. So. Okay, so these guys are now public enemy number 1 on the right flank. Jesus Christ. Okay, that's not so bad. I mean, that's a shame, but we knew that they were going to be doing some kind of repair. Yeah, so that's the thing that I was worried about. This guy's actually in a really bad spot for that. Well, they're really committing to those 2 guys on the side. I think I'm going to have to move them out. Okay, so we'll maneuver. Again, I'd love to be able to do some damage to the constructor, but I want to be I should have done targeting parameters. I really should have looked at how many turns that takes. That was a big blunder. Okay. I'm not crazy about any move that... I feel like I gotta try and do some kind of damage to the bad guys. That was more than I was expecting. Okay, these guys are doing nothing useful. So I don't like having these guys exposed, but obviously this was a pretty high priority target. This guy actually needs some healing, so I think he'll... Oh, interesting. He can't target anybody. That was really clever of them. Okay, I'm gonna hold off on using the bulwark on this. I feel like I should be able to do something more interesting with the bulwark. Oh, but you know what? I may not have anybody else to be able to get the shot. That's the trade-off. Okay, let's think about what else we can do. Really? No...
Payback.
All right. Problem is, if I do... Yeah, I can only move one. All right, well, I'll take the sniper shot that I can. So normally I would not consider these kinds of things high priorities, but obviously having the boss man supercharging them changes that calculation, so... Not quite enough to finish the job, but do these guys... Nope, they're not free. Alright, I'm in a little bit of a pickle now. I've got too many priorities for attacks and not enough. Okay, so if I just... No. Okay, it's kind of a 1 in a million, but... Close! Not enough. Okay, we're gonna go bold with this guy. So I can do a little damage. I can take... God. Yeah, I'm gonna do it because he can fall on the... Yeah,
Enemy annihilated.
he can fall on the sniper. Okay, yes, I also have the foremen who have been neglected. Oh, cool. I didn't think I was going to be able to do anything with them.
Enemy down.
Nice. Alright, and the Baron. I think the Baron's just going to lumber up and look impressive. So, in terms of... for priorities, where am I sitting? Generally, we're doing okay. These guys are going to be able to heal in their trench. They are affected by psionic weakness and broken mind. So I don't actually really expect them to be able to do a whole lot, but you know, I've got a way of managing that. The right-hand side is kind of crumbled, but it does have the hero. The hero has got a very strong weapon. They're almost certainly going to be able to do some pretty heavy damage on my main character. But the good news is that when we sweep these guys up, if he starts committing to priority soldiers for us, these guys sweep around the edge and get a bunch of flanks. I'm a little more concerned about the left-hand side here, and that's just because the reverse engineer unit is actually pretty well entrenched. And I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to handle that yet, but we'll see. I think we're done for now. Yeah, I saw that one coming. I am curious if I can get the foreman to heal him in time. Oh, the blinding's actually a really tough one to deal with. I would have gone for a melee attack if they could have. That thing's gonna die next turn. Alright, so that's why those things are more of a priority. Okay, so that's some pretty good news for me overall. I think at this point we just charge straight ahead with the... Well, no, you know what? I'll take the better shot and get the 2 on the flanked hero. What I should have done before, actually, and I'll get this done now, I should have enhanced the targeting. So, I mean, it's blinded, so I don't have a lot of hope for where it's going. Oh man, we'd wipe him out though if... I gotta go for it.
Enemy commander down.
That was awesome. Alright. Can't drop another entrench. Thank you, Casual Nothing. I relied on my expert, my expert view of probability. Every moment of my life has been leading towards this. I
Enemy
clearly
down.
deserved that. Yeah, that was shocking. But man, am I happy that happened. Okay. I gotta find a way to get the trencher out of here without completely exposing him to the horrors on the other side. It would be so wonderful if I could get him in a trench. See, I really gotta use that spike gun. There is almost certainly no way that's... Okay, you know what? Fortune favors the bold. I probably should have checked to see if that canceled my turn. I have just really screwed my commander. Well, easy come, easy go. At this point, I just need to do as much damage as possible to the guy who can do the most damage to my commander. Alright, let's start throwing him into the... Again, this is just somebody who can deliver a heal. So, Foreman's still short on things that he can realistically do. Let's move him a little bit back. He's still probably going to take some fairly intense damage. Oh, gee, get away from the blast radius, my friend. They'll probably be healing some of that back up with a melee attack. Oh, not unless I can... Oh, and I can overcharge somebody again. I forgot that was a thing you could do continuously. In this case, I'm going to save the other hero, because apparently my commander is not worth it.
Enemy eliminated.
Okay, I have a somewhat optimistic but not impossible shot on the... Well, there's a... Nope, there isn't a chance. So I'll do something silly and just heal everything. Okay, so let's see... I don't 100% see a way that they can take out the commander, but I also don't know if they're hiding any tactics up their sleeve. Oh, the poor Foreman.
Payback.
Oh, that's just the game being mean. I almost got out of this with no casualties. You know what? That's why you can miss every other hit for the rest of this game. What you did on the enemy commander was more than enough.
Enemy annihilated.
Cool.
Our forces are
That might be
victorious.
the assembly, but they seem to be coming from places that I hadn't seen before. And looks like he's not properly dead, so... Do not mistake my defeat for your victory. You may not realize it yet, but you stand alone, Zelenzo. We will meet again, and when we do, you will understand the meaning of my words. The threat sounds very empty when it is every word is poison. Mephilas may have fled, but I suspect that we will have the opportunity to settle this in due time. For now, he will no longer stand in our way. Alright, let's get some upgrades in. I am about half an hour past where I normally want to be, and it's getting a little late. So, hey, you're E5 where? I think we did. We are Prometheans. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to digest that turn. I'm actually really happy. I'll admit, I like Planetfall even more each time I play it. But I feel that this play session in particular is one where I'm really starting to sort of find, like, so those of you who've been sticking with the stream since we started playing this, like, you definitely could see where I was sort of leaving it to either chance or the game to decide what the best course of action would be, and I feel like this mission in particular, and that's partly by design, I've been able to make some fairly, like, they're not necessarily the right choices, but they are decisions that I can own, and I can sort of say, I'm doing this thing because, you know, here's my perceived, here's the perceived benefit that I'm going to get out of it. It might be a 1 in a million shot, but if it works, then everybody else gets freed up to do something else. And I had struggled, like, this game's got a tagline in its first trailer, make your turn count, and I really feel like I wasn't doing that originally, and I feel like I've made a bit of a breakthrough in terms of just being able to make more of what I've gotten. So, by the way, this Autonom, the ambassador is a very helpful little bonus given the work that my bulwarks have been doing, so I approve. Okay, what are we going to do with our 6 skill points? So, I don't normally... Like, this... So 1 unit can get a bonus, but I'm sticking with it. And I actually think steady aim is very helpful for him too, so... eventually I'll mod him, but I don't quite have what I need. Okay, we're locking you in. Okay. I guess there's no foreman. Well, he's on his way. These units should probably be heading back to the home territory to get properly built up. These guys are eventually going to need a foreman, but we'll keep them around for now. So Banadron, recreational domes, pretty much a must given the dissatisfaction. I'm assuming that's because of conquest and then volcanic. We can get rid of the volcanic and delightful energy systems upgrade. So we'll. Again, I may not actually build these, but... XR B8. We can actually start working you like dogs right away, but I will build the recreational dome. And you could start churning out units. Again, this is more so to fill out the area. These guys have got a science lab. That makes sense because we're going to set them up with Carminia's Blessing Palace. I think the next few turns what I'm going to be doing is finally clearing out some of the people who are blocking the resources. So we need to recover the heavy weapons factory. We need to get rid of the marauders who are hanging out in the resource node. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I can get here. Yeah. Now, Banadrin, what are you producing? Oh, they went for production. Well, I guess that makes sense, but... these guys I actually want to expand out, so I'm going to get them. But we were going to shift the priority, so what I'm going to do here is we will take... Okay, we're not generating enough. And take. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to shift the growth from some of these other regions into my main base. Again, my main base is just so that I can get, I think you get 5 tiles, so I just want 2 more. One here and one here. Then I'll turn that off and I'll go away from the food. Same story with Kildov. And while normally I wouldn't want to take, normally I would let XRB8 sort of languish a bit, there is the really good science bonus that I'll be getting from that. So, okay, that's taken care of. We're neutral with the assembly, but that's
Opponent
because...
has been defeated.
Yeah. And I believe that's it. We're drowning in cosmite, so I need to start thinking a little bit about how I'm going to structure my military, but as it happens, we don't really have any enemies anymore, so... So, thank you everybody for watching. I had a lot of fun doing this, and again, I'm very happy that, well, of course I'm happy, but I'm very grateful that Triumph and Paradox reached out to, give me these promotional keys. Obviously, I am a smaller streamer, so it's not something I can ever really count on. But I'm very fond of the Age of Wonders series, and Planetfall has continued to surprise me with how enjoyable it is and how many new things I can discover. So, also, it was really nice to see a lot of you who, even if I didn't remember, it was really nice to see some old familiar faces. So thank you for that as well. I'm going to take a quick minute to see who I can host tonight. The last few evenings has actually been a little challenging. Sorry, you're not going to be able to hear the music while I do that. Last few evenings have been a bit challenging just because the normal people who I host, I don't always get a chance to see, but let's... Normal people... I hate hearing my own voice. Who have we got online? Oh, okay. I almost never get to host this guy, so I thought it was going to be Elegy again, but it turns out that... Outworld is streaming, and I've not had a chance to host him in a while. So Outworld was doing a lot of BattleTech around the time that I was playing BattleTech, but he has really gotten into Mount and Blade recently. He's I don't know when. Apparently Bannerlord's coming out soon. I don't remember when, but so I'll let you know if you want to check out who I was going to host originally. It's Elegy, twitch.tv/Elegy, but Outworld is streaming right now, and he's playing Mount and Blade Warband. Outworld is a partnered Australian streamer, very friendly guy, and he's actually working on his chat interaction. So if you guys can hang out and give him a little back and forth, that would mean a lot to me, because we're talking about improving public speaking. You guys would have a chance to be able to help him develop that skill. So I'd love it if you'd come along with the Outworld raid. Glad I got to catch some of the wonderful Mr. Oh, thank you kindly, Casual Nothing. We'll host Outworld. Just a quick word on what's going to be happening in the oncoming week. I've got a nice long Elder Scrolls episode coming up tomorrow. That's pre-recorded, but I'll try and hang out and chat for as long as I can. That's the one with the Caius voice. On Wednesday, I've got a game which somebody reached out to cover. I'm really excited to do it. It looks really interesting, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. So you can come on Wednesday and see that. And then Friday, we might do that game as well, or might go back to Six Ages, or maybe Planetfall. I don't know. I've got a bunch of stuff that I really like, but it's all good, and I'm excited about all of it. So anyways, I won't deny Outworld anymore. Oh, thank you very much, Eyes of Sin. Well, you know how much I like having you in the channel. Thank you very much for hanging out. And let me get you in touch with Outworld before he goes offline. Have a good evening, folks.